If you've ever prepared for 3 fantasy football drafts for the 3-day weekend that's coming up, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Tuesday, August 26th edition, and Cook is cooked. We've got markets slightly under pressure here, but basically flat. And we're one day closer to the NVIDIA earnings. We're going to break it all down. We're going to have some fun. And then, of course, we are going to trade these markets. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Tuesday, August 26th starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. Happy Tuesday out there in internet land. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday evening, and I hope that you're having a good morning so far, despite it being early. We are one day closer to the kickoff of college football and all of the fantasy drafts that I'm going to do, but we have a ton of stuff still yet to go this week. We're going to break that down. We're going to get you all prepared for that, and then we're going to trade it. And we're going to keep chipping away at these days. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Peter is first. Peter, I have one question. When is Ryan coming to Colorado to play the most beautiful golf course in the world? Peter, I am trying to get myself and my golf buddies to do a West Mountain trip for golf. I really want to play in Montana and Wyoming and some of those beautiful mountain courses. I'm sure Colorado has them as well. I have no plans for that, but it is on the back burner. I can't wait. Tara, good morning. Welcome back. Paul, good morning. Welcome back. Corey, good morning. Welcome back. Francis and Candace, welcome back. Sunkissed Yogi, welcome back. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Mystic Meditation Music. That sounds really relaxing and awesome, and the alliteration is on point. So good morning and welcome back. Big Dave, good morning. Hints Boat Works, good morning from Madtown, Wisconsin. How's the weather up there in Wisconsin? It feels like fall here in the northern burbs. I would imagine it's quite crispy up there. Good morning. Glass Half Full, good morning. Brian, good morning. Big Bees, good morning. Brandy, welcome back. Dirkus, good morning. Brian, good morning. All That Glitters. Awesome name. Good morning. Welcome back. Hopefully you're glittering this morning. Tom, good morning. Producer is locked in and ready to go. You know, I absolutely love that. Day Trader and Brian, good morning. Neville, JJ, and Maverick, good morning. Just passing through. Nice. We got the Twitter feed working here. I see the Twitter peeps in the chat. I'm sorry about yesterday, but I'm glad we got that behind us. We're ready to rock. Sassy Butterfly Chick, good morning. Ricardo, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Christian, good morning. 3D, good morning. A Big Bear Hug, Paulo and Laura in Florida, good morning. Yusef, good morning. Graf, good morning. Brandy says it's the first cool morning on the South Georgia coast in months. Brandy, if your summer was as hot as ours is, I bet you're rejoicing with that cool weather there, and it gives your air conditioner a break. Maybe get the fans going. Great to see you. Empyrean, good morning. Good to see you. Ezra, good morning. AC, good morning. Rooster, good morning. And Edward, good morning. All right, folks, we are actually going to try a new segment here today and every day, frankly. We're going to call it the Stock Market Today segment. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to have a little bit of like an overview of what's going on in the market. And then we are going to break some of those stories down. So let's go ahead and start the Stock Market Today. Happy Tuesday out there, folks. It is August 26th here, and the stock market, U.S. stock futures fell on Tuesday following Monday's lower close. Futures of major benchmark indices were slightly lower. The decline followed President Trump's firing of Lisa Cook, a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, on Monday. Cook was removed from her position, citing what Trump referred to as, quote, deceitful and potentially criminal conduct, end quote, based on a criminal referral from William Pulte, the director of Federal Housing Finance Agency, to the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi earlier this month. Investors are also awaiting the NVIDIA earnings. That's going to be our biggest event this week. That comes on Wednesday after the close. They're set to report second quarter earnings. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond has yielded 4.3%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.71%. The SPY and the Qs, which track the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 respectively, fell in the pre-market on Monday. The SPY was down 0.034%. That's down less than 1% from an all-time high. The Qs declined 0.046%. They're down just over 2% from the all-time high. The Dow is down less than 1% from the all-time high, and the IWM has continued to rally, up 34+% from Liberation Day. All right, let's expand on some of that news here. With most sectors in the S&P 500 closing on a negative note, consumer staples, healthcare, and utilities stocks recorded the biggest losses on Monday. We continue to see some rotation, and that's probably a good thing. However, communication services and energy stocks bucked the overall market trend, closing higher on the session. Some insights here from analysts. Markets are looking for a slate of key economic data this week, with the main event being NVIDIA's earnings and Friday's release of the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index for July. That is the PCE. Expectations for personal income and spending to show solid gains for July, with Bill Adams, the chief economist at Comerica, forecasting a 0.6% rise for both metrics. The headline PCE price index is anticipated to rise modestly, benefiting from softer food and gasoline prices. However, the core PCE index, which strips out these volatile components, is expected to have accelerated, with Comerica predicting a 0.4% monthly increase and a rise to 3% year over year. This divergence will closely be watched by the Fed as it assures underlying inflation trends. Further clouding the picture, consumer confidence for August is expected to have eased, though inflation expectations from households remain high. According to Jeffrey Roach, the chief economist at Lawrence Gillum, chief fixed income strategist, LPL's Strategic and Tactical Asset Allocation Committee, boy, what a mouthful that is maintaining a tactical neutral stance on equities. Investors are advised to prepare for, quote, occasional bouts of volatility, end quote, stemming from an optimistic stock valuations, persistent tariff and inflation risks, and historical seasonal weakness. Boy, I'm sure glad that our show has been on top of every one of those. We've been telling you about all of this for a while, trying to get people prepared. It's good to see that we are in good company here. LPL Research currently advises against increasing portfolio risk beyond established benchmark targets. This is also something that we've discussed here. Really, pretty much everything that we have talked about, whether it's a new swing trade, an earnings play, an investment, and even some of the day trades, we're really putting risk and risk management first in all of these trades. This is not the time to get cute. To use the baseball analogy, this is not the time to swing for a home run. Instead, we should be trying to get on base and making the most of it. We certainly don't want to hit into a double play or strike out, if you will. Analysts anticipate the volatility across fixed income markets may persist. This is driven by uncertainty around monetary policy, political pressure on the Federal Reserve, and the ongoing reduction of the Fed's balance sheet. The STAAC holds a neutral position in core bonds with a slight preference for mortgage-backed securities over investment-grade corporate bonds. The committee does not believe it's attractive to add duration, which is interest rate sensitivity, at current levels. Now, we talked a little bit about the PCE coming on Friday. Here's some more upcoming data here that we can expect on Tuesday. July's durable goods orders, that'll be out at 8:30. June's S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index for 20 cities will be announced at 9, and the August consumer confidence data should be out by 10. Now, let's dive into the big story of the day. We'll break it down a little bit more. I highlighted it in the Stock Market Today segment, but President Trump fired, or I guess, not actually even sure where this kind of stands. So I might take a liberty here and say President Trump has moved to fire Lisa Cook. from what I understand, this is all new to me. So from what I understand, he has fired her, and it's going to have to go through a court in order to see if she can remain on or not. I'm actually not 100% sure, but President Trump has moved to fire Lisa Cook, a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, on Monday. In a letter addressed to Cook and shared in a Truth Social post on the same day, Trump said, quote, "Pursuant to my authority under Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 as amended, you are hereby removed from your position of Board of Governors from the Federal Reserve effective immediately." The reason for her removal, citing what Trump referred to as deceitful and potentially criminal conduct based on a criminal referral from William Pulte, the director of Federal Housing Finance Agency. Trump says the referral provided sufficient reason to believe that Cook has made false statements on one or more mortgage agreements. According to the letter, Cook alleged to sign a document addressing that a property in Michigan would be her primary residence for the next year, before signing another in Georgia just 2 weeks later. Trump said, quote, "It's inconceivable that you were not aware of the first commitment when making the second. It is impossible that you intended to honor both." End quote. In his letter, Trump emphasized the importance of integrity at the central bank, highlighting its role in setting interest rates along with regulating reserve and member banks. Quote, "The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty and members entrusted with setting policy and overseeing the Federal Reserve." End quote. He concluded by saying, "In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot, and I do not have such confidence in your integrity." End quote. Last week, Trump intensified his attacks on the Federal Reserve by asking Cook to step down over mortgage fraud allegations. "Cook must resign now," was the Truth Social post that came out. Cook responded to the allegations, saying that she had, quote, "no intention of being bullied to step down," end quote, while adding that she takes any question regarding her financial history very seriously. So again, we'll see how this all shakes out. Here's the good news. Regardless of whatever happens here, the good news here is that the market really does not seem to be fazed by this at all. Frankly, yesterday, in fact, let's go back and take a look at the SPY. This is actually a really good segue. I know I didn't break down the SPY technicals like I normally do, so this is actually a really good time to do it. Yesterday's action, pretty telling. I had said yesterday on the show that, one of my calls was that we're probably going to trade up one more time before September here, but we probably won't set a new all-time high. And then maybe the NVIDIA earnings report will be that final catalyst to roll us over. Well, we did set a new all-time high on Friday on that huge power candle, but yesterday's session to me was telling. I'd love to get your opinion about this. So we held on Friday into the after hours, and then when we opened in the morning, we were down slightly. When the show started here, we traded up. We really got pretty close to that consolidation area, but we couldn't break above it. We certainly didn't set a new all-time high. We really didn't even challenge it. It was very, very low volume yesterday. And then we showed some more weakness here into the close. So with the pre-market being down here, S&P futures here down 0.14%, Dow futures down 0.14%, and the NASDAQ here down 0.18%. This, to me, given all of the stuff that's going on and all of the rhetoric back and forth, this to me is the market doesn't care. And I would have to imagine that the people that are involved in politics or really follow it, they're the ones that actually care. Market here, at least so far in the pre-market, telling you this is kind of a non-factor. To me, it sure looks like, with everything that we have set up that we've been talking about for what feels like a month now, sure feels like this is probably the temporary top right now. Let's see what NVIDIA earning. I'm talking about a market that's potentially going to move down here in September. The reality here is that if NVIDIA just blows these earnings out and then guides higher and has really rosy things, frankly, to say in their earnings report, there's no stopping SPY from going higher, or the Qs. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on the reaction. Maybe traders will sell it as they view that we're at peak earnings. While I expect the market to move down because of seasonality, it's certainly not a guarantee. And the reality is that these NVIDIA earnings could really set the stage for whatever that next move is. So the all-time high is going to be the upside level that I'm going to be watching. My gut tells me that we're not really going to challenge that here today. I've got that value at 640, 650. I don't think that gets challenged today. To me, it makes a lot more sense that we maybe roll over a little bit and test this 20-day moving average. We got that at 637.39. So I don't know. Let's see if we roll over here, maybe hold this. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was another low volume day. Clearly, the two big events this week are the NVIDIA earnings and the PCE print that we get on Friday. So if the market is kind of in that holding pattern as we wrap up summer here, that would make a lot of sense to me. So as far as key levels go, I only have two for you. It's going to be the all-time high from Friday at 646.50, and then the 20-day moving average down there at 637.39. If we close within these, we close within these. That's it. And we'll probably keep moving sideways here. Okay. That pretty much does it for the SPY. Let's see. We talked about Fed's Cook. There is one thing here that I wanted to get to. We did have some more S&P 500 inclusion. Interactive Brokers, ticker IBKR, shares are trading higher in Monday's after-hour session after it was announced that the company will join the S&P 500. So after the market closed on Monday, SPY, S&P Dow Jones Indices, announced that the automated global electronic broker Interactive Brokers will replace Walgreens Boots Alliance in the S&P 500. That'll be effective prior to the market open on August 28th, which is Thursday. The index shakeup comes as Sycamore Partners is set to acquire Walgreens Boots Alliance in a deal expected to be completed soon. Talon Energy will take Interactive Broker's spot in the S&P Midcap 400. Shares of Robinhood, ticker HOOD, and AppLovin, ticker APP, are moving lower in extended trading on Monday as the companies have been considered strong candidates for potential S&P 500 inclusion. Robinhood was down 0.75%, and AppLovin was down approximately 0.4% at the last check per Benzinga Pro. So I guess that my real question here is, are you interested in Interactive Brokers now that it's in the S&P 500? As the next story is going to talk about here, it does kind of feel like maybe Robinhood was a snub. Would you have rather seen Robinhood? I don't think anyone here would want to see Walgreens Boots Alliance in there. That's a company that seems to be on the backside of its life cycle. The shakeup makes sense, I guess. Really, the question comes down to why did they pick Interactive Brokers over Hood? I guess I'd like to know what the group feels about that. Which one would you rather see? I do think the inclusion into the S&P will mean some forced buying by funds for this, so we could see a pop in that stock. Let me know what you think about that and if you're going to trade any of those names mentioned. Now, as we were just talking about, Robinhood got snubbed by the S&P 500, but guess what? Kathy Wood still loves it if you weren't shocked at that. Robinhood has stumbled, falling over 7% in the last 5 trading sessions. Really quickly before we go into that, I want to add some context to that, I guess is the best way to say it. Here's a look at Robinhood's daily chart. I probably don't even need to show all you folks this because you guys follow Robinhood all of the time. We are down from this 117 high. So I understand that it's, been a rough handful of days here, but we really just traded down to another bottom side trend line. The reality here is that one of these trend lines is going to fail. We either break down or we break out of here. The one that I'm obviously watching for is a breakdown. It does kind of feel with the 200-day this far away from the price down there at $60.49. It does kind of feel like there's more room to fall. So if we break down from the bottom trend line here, I feel like that move could be a little bit more violent than if we break out. And I would imagine that other traders are kind of looking for that as well. I know there's been a lot of bullish views here on Hood. I would just wonder, for those that are bullish or for those that like Robinhood, do you see a pullback coming? Do you think that would be good? Are you interested in taking a long? Like, for example, if we pulled back and dipped below the 50 and recaptured it, would that be enough to entice you? Would you like to see more of a pullback, maybe to the 100 or to the previous all-time high breakout? Let me know how you're thinking about Hood here, because it does, at least according to the chart, it does look like the next move might be down. And I think that that's going to represent a buying opportunity for Hood. So I'm just kind of starting the process here of thinking what would be good entry on Hood? What would give us a pretty decent swing trade here on Hood? What level is that? That is. Now, the S&P Dow Jones Indices announced late on Monday that Interactive Brokers would be joining the benchmark index, taking a spot that many on Wall Street had anticipated would go to Robinhood. A place in the S&P 500 is highly sought after as it guarantees a stock's purchase by countless passive index funds and increases the exposure to a wider range of investors. This marks the latest in a series of snubs for Robinhood, which has met key eligibility criteria but has been repeatedly overlooked by the index committee. Does anyone think we can put on our tinfoil hats if we want? This is a safe space for you conspiracy theorists. Anyone think there's anything going on behind the scenes here? I'd entertain that. The investment firm is focused on the company's new partnership with Kalshi to offer event contracts on sports, effectively creating a federally regulated prediction market. According to the commentary, this new venture could, quote, reshape the way investors and consumers think about and respond to the convergence between sports and financial markets, end quote. The key difference DraftKings and FanDuel face the pressure. The key difference lies in the regulatory framework. While sportsbooks like DraftKings must navigate a complex patchwork of state gambling laws, Robinhood's new offering is regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. This allows event contracts to function more like tradable financial contracts than sports bets, opening the door to a nationwide market with significantly less friction. So I'm going to pause right there just temporarily. Do any of you think that the snub is related to this, that maybe they kind of see this happening and they might want to readjust? The CFTC might want to readjust some of these rules and regulations. I don't know how much I buy this next sentence here about tradable financial contracts, or that the event contracts function more like tradable financial contracts than sports bets. I'll be honest with you. Every time I talk to somebody that's not part of our community here or that is not actively in markets, they tell me all the time that the market is gambling. And even when I cite how it isn't, or reasons that it isn't, or ways in which it is not, you still have a number of people that think that. To me, it just seems like this is even closer to gambling and less like tradable financial contracts, as they said. Curious to get your input on that there on Hood, and if that impacts your desire, if you will, to buy the stock. ARK's analysts also point to a more transparent and cost-effective economic model. Robinhood charges a flat 2-cent fee per contract, a stark contrast to traditional sports books that embed a 4 to 6% margin, or VIG, into their odds. This structure means bettors often need to win 52 to 55% of the time just to break even. In its conclusion, ARK suggests that Robinhood's approach, combining federal oversight, lower fees, and broader access, is a pioneering model that could ultimately, quote, turbocharge the convergence between sports and financial markets, end quote. I gotta say, as someone that does sports betting for very small nominal amounts, just really for fun, winning 52 to 55% of the time, not easy. Even if you're into this, even if you pay attention to this, even if this is what you do and read about all of the time, it's not easy to do this. I will say I'm continually impressed by those that post long-term gains from sports gambling. I've tried it a number of different ways. I've tried systems, I've tried feel, I've tried recommendations. Sports gambling, despite how fun it is, not easy. Hood shares did close 1.26% lower on Monday as they fell in the after hours. We'll see how Hood does here today. Hood down about another percent here in the pre-market today. And as mentioned, we are beneath the 20-day moving average and basically right on the bottom end of that trend line. So we'll see. We'll see if Hood if Hood's able to hold this. I gotta say, if Hood breaks this downtrend line here, I think it probably gets caught by the 50. That doesn't mean it necessarily bounces from the 50. I think the 50 slows it down. And in that case, if that's what we get, we actually might be able to set up a potential short trade if that 50 is lost in the near future. So I do think there's a trade coming here on Robinhood pretty soon. I'd love to hear what the group thinks about that. Looks like Neville said 90 puts. Tyler says, I've been waiting for re-entry to Hood since I sold it at 100. That, first of all, Tyler, that's awesome because you definitely made money on that. And it would be great to be able to reload one of those winners. I'm all about that there. The prediction market could have done for Hood. Although IBKR has something similar for a while, the committee may be IBKR customers. That's what I mean about the tinfoil hat pickabees. I could easily see that. I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating here, but I could easily see that. Let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA before we get to our guest here for our T3 Tuesday. NVIDIA is set to report earnings tomorrow, just in case you haven't heard. NVIDIA is set to report earnings tomorrow after hours, and while some analysts warn that its outlook for the next quarter could fall short of its lofty expectations, bullish voices like Wedbush's Dan Ives and Deepwater's Gene Munster say the AI powerhouse is only just getting started. Ives continues to remain bullish, predicting NVIDIA's results will demonstrate its dominant role in powering AI infrastructure worldwide. The street continues to underestimate the demand curve for the AI revolution being led by NVIDIA. Ives wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Oh, I did it. I just read it. That was dumb of me. I apologize formally to the group here. Ives wrote on X, this week's earnings will be another flex the muscles moment for NVIDIA and the AI revolution bull thesis. There is one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, and that chip is NVIDIA. Gene Munster has argued that investors are overly focused on short-term numbers and they're missing NVIDIA's broader trajectory. Quote, for the next 2 years, we're still early in the AI data center build out. Beyond that, physical AI will pick up where the data center leaves off. He continued, adding that robotics has the potential to become a data center's encore and move the growth needle. You know, now that we've kind of talked about robotics, some of the other smaller caps, obviously Tesla and all of that, do you think that there's a little too much hype or maybe reliance on what robotics is going to do? I'm bullish on the sector. Hearing a lot of CEOs talk about robots, what they can do for their potential businesses or what they can potentially do for their businesses. I get it. I'm just wondering if we're maybe a little bit ahead of ourselves. That's all. Just some food for thought there. Beyond that, physical AI will pick up where the data center leaves off. He highlighted that NVIDIA's Jetson AGX Thor robotics chip is a sign of its push beyond data centers. After adding $2 trillion in market value since April, NVIDIA enters its second quarter earnings with soaring expectations and heightened scrutiny. You know, we've talked before about the bar being exceptionally low and this being easier for companies to jump over. It'll be curious to see if that's still the case here or if some of these increased expectations are enough to stop NVIDIA in its tracks. However, analysts at KeyBank Capital Markets has suggested that NVIDIA could guide below Wall Street's third quarter estimates, citing uncertainty around U.S. export license and Chinese government pressure on domestic chip adoption. KeyBank getting it exactly right here. I think this is really the big thing in this entire report. We have watched for the entire earnings season that guidance has really kind of driven the bus, if you will, for these companies and whether or not they trade up or down. And I don't think that's going to be any different on Wednesday afternoon. So these are very real things. We'll see how NVIDIA handles this in the guide. Jensen loves to promote his company. He loves to use, this grandiose language and all of that. So it'll be very curious to see how he approaches that. We talk to analysts all the time, and they often talk about reading a CEO's tone and all of that during these calls. They do that with Elon Musk all the time. I'll be curious to see if they do the same thing here with Jensen and how he composes and presents himself. Earlier this month, it was reported that NVIDIA had instructed suppliers to stop production of its H20 AI chip for the Chinese market. KeyBank noted that excluding Chinese sales from guidance could result in an additional $2 to $3 billion in potential revenue being shaved off. Despite those concerns, KeyBank reaffirmed an overweight rating and raised its price target to $215 from $190, pointing to strong fundamentals and continued GPU supply growth. Remember, we had talked a little bit about the Gamers Nexus investigation and all of that and what's going to happen with that. I'm curious to see if we get any of that in the conference call as well. I doubt it, but I'm still curious. Well, NVIDIA's Blackwell GPU ramp and next generation B300 launch reinforces its leadership. Some analysts remain cautious. And then, of course, as we've not forgotten, September has historically been NVIDIA's weakest month. And not just NVIDIA, but all of the broader markets, SPY, Qs, Dow, we are all kind of expecting a weak September here. We'll see if we end up getting that to shake out. All right. And then here's another trading idea. We've talked a lot about the lower interest rates, what that means for housing. I've obviously got a rocket position that we've talked about quite a bit. I've actually sold now majority of that. I basically only have a trailer on. But there are some other things that we could look at for a potential trade. And here you go. Powell's shift could spark a home builder boom. And guess what? Investors are already looking at this. The Spider Homebuilder ETF, or XHB, soared 5.1%, marking the strongest move across all major equity industries. What's behind the surge? You guessed it. Fed Chair Jerome Powell's dovish pivot at Jackson Hole, which reinforced expectations that the Federal Reserve is preparing to cut rates, possibly as soon as September. For a sector as deeply tied to borrowing costs as housing, the message was loud and clear. Easier financial conditions are coming, and home builders stand to benefit. Now, it's worth taking a break here. And the home builders on their recent earnings calls, even if they were last month, they all sounded pretty bullish. And so it's interesting now to see this come out. It does seem like they are eagerly awaiting this. Seems like it's going to be good for some of those. We've looked at Toll, D.R. Horton, Pulte Homes, KB Homes, Beazer Homes. We've looked at all of those over the course of time with this trade here. In his closely watched Jackson Hole speech, Powell said that the Fed is ready to, quote, adjust our policy stance, end quote, in light of shifting risks, particularly on the jobs front. The tone marked a notable shift from inflation-first messaging, signaling a greater willingness to support growth, even if that means inflation stays slightly elevated for now. Markets took a green light for a September rate cut, and traders quickly rotated into sectors that have historically thrived on lower interest rates. Housing is at the top of that list. We spent some time talking about small caps over the past couple of shows here. Housing also on that list here. Recent housing data added to the bullish narrative. New home sales in July came in stronger than expected, up 0.6 from the previous month to a seasonally adjusted annualized rate of 652,000 units, beating estimates of 630,000 units thanks to a mix of aggressive pricing strategies and mortgage incentives from builders. Quote, price cuts and other builder incentives are keeping a floor under new home sales. That came from Nancy Vandenhouten, lead U.S. economist at Oxford Economics, in an emailed comment. The median new home price dropped to its lowest level since September, down 5.9% year over year, giving buyers some relief after 2 years of affordability pressure. And while sales were flat from June, the South, along the housing market's strongest region, continued to outperform. One potential headwind: in inventory is rising, and the number of completed homes for sale reached a 16-year high, which could weigh on future starts. Still, that rising supply may be just what the market needs in order to cool. For economists, the Fed support creates a powerful step for home builders. Quote, opportunities remain for builders if they can entice buyers with below market mortgage rates. That came from Jeff Roach, who we quote often here, the chief economist at LPL Financial. He also flagged how housing activity spills into other parts of the economy, consumer spending, home improvement, and broader confidence. Home Depot and Lowe's would be earnings reports to look at that. Case in point, Home Depot recently reported that big ticket transactions over $1,000 increased in Q2, reversing previous declines and indicating a return to homeowner confidence. With the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate down 80 basis points from years high, financing conditions are starting to ease just as the Fed signals it may be willing to help and do even more. With mortgage rates slipping, demand stabilizing, and the Fed now tilting towards support, the conditions are aligned for a housing rebound into year end. I am still long the Rocket Runners. At this point now, this just becomes an exercise in risk management. That position is up 226%, and we have till March to finish those calls off. So I've been selling just chunks of them along the way. Even if the remaining calls that I have go to zero, I'll still be up about 100% on the total trade. So no big deal here. We're going to try and let those winners run as long as possible. And if we do get interest rate cuts, we'll see if some of these housing stocks respond to that. All right, folks, it is Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is, in fact, a T3 Tuesday, and we're going to go ahead and bring on our special guest here today. Let's give a warm welcome to the one and only Red Dog. Scott, happy Tuesday. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing real good. I just got back from 2 golf vacations myself, and I've got football starting this weekend, the college game starting this weekend, and the pro game starting next weekend. Scott, it is hard for me to be in a bad mood right now. I'll be completely honest with you. Very difficult. I am loving life.
Let me ask you a question. How's your back after 2 big golf outings?
Well, you know what? I'm glad that you asked that. My back is doing great, largely because I've been exercising every single day, even when I don't play golf. I've also added stretching to my morning regimen to add to the push-ups. I feel like $1 million, my man.
That's good. That's good. Well, it's like, a millionaire or $1 million was great about 5 years ago. Now you have to feel like $1 billion. You know how many billionaires there are out there?
Okay.
So now that you feel like $1 million, you have to start feeling like $1 billion. So you got to add a few more things to the regimen.
You know what, Scott? My motto is that I can get 2% better every day. I benchmark myself against myself, and you've given me a new target to go through. Let's do it.
There you go. You know what? I've heard 1% a day, so 2% is very optimistic. And I also heard this whole thing about you don't want to then be the new you. Like everyone comes with their New Year's resolutions, or maybe the fall. Like it's September. September's a great time to make some promises to yourself, considering it's like a new season. Kids go back to school. It's football season, like you said. I love the fall, so maybe put a few things on paper that you think you need to do a little differently that you haven't been doing great over the summer, or maybe some resolutions you had in January that have fell off the wayside. So September is a good time to write it down, but doesn't need to be the new you, just the incrementally a little bit better you. That's it.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Folks, we are with Red Dog, Scott Redler. Get Scott's option trading blueprint for free in his live webinar on August 27th. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, Scott, I see that you've got the SPY up here. We're down less than 1% from an all-time high. We just had Jackson Hole. We've got Trump trying to fire a Fed governor. What are we seeing here in the SPY? What do we look for next?
Well, yesterday was a bit of an inside day in the SPYs. Not a big deal. Sometimes you get such a big move like we had on Friday, so it kind of steals from the day after. I know for me, I came in with a bunch of longs yesterday. Some things gave me a great way to manage it, to buy more, trade my tier size, and some things were just like a trap where, they opened down and they didn't give you a way out, and that just happens in the market sometimes. So looking at the SPYs, not a big deal, to be honest. You look right here, all it did is give you a little bit of an inside day from clearing 638 to 646 for it to see 642 in change. Again, it's pretty much par for the course. So right now we're down 40 cents. Again, not such a big deal. We're off the lows. So I would say right now we're below 642.36. You have the 8-day right there, which is about 640-ish. I would think that if we're going to have momentum and if we're going to be in a market where you could be buying things a little faster, we at least hold the 640 area. It would be even better if we all of a sudden go green and hang out in the top third of this range. Just when you try and measure retracement rules, what that does is it gives you the speed of the next move. Because if all of
Mhm.
a sudden, just like remember here, we trickled down for 5 days. It was like
Yep.
buying things on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 wasn't fun. So here, you want to make sure you're not buying back too fast. But if it were to hold up here and stocks are acting well, it tells you, you could be in more risk versus a little less selective.
Okay, I absolutely love that. I will say that I actually just talked about this a little bit on Hood with them getting snubbed from the S&P inclusion. When a stock is pulling off of its all-time high, whether it's an individual or excuse me, off of its high, whether it's an individual name or a name like SPY, it one of the battles that I consistently go through is, well, where do I add here? How long do I wait? This is actually a really good way of looking at that. And you're absolutely right. That last pullback here, a couple of days, if you were adding early in that, it wasn't fun, but eventually it turned into a winning trade there.
Yeah, they trickled you down and for 5 days
Yeah.
ahead of Jackson. Oh, that's why I was, if you go back to the spies, we caught a really nice trade because it was a good setup. We pulled in for 5 days ahead of Powell. You figured he'd be somewhat dovish, so we were buying the 635 calls for like $3, and then it wound up going to 10-11. Unfortunately, I sold
Yeah.
most of mine at 5, but it was a good trade. And now, after a potent move like this, you just want to see what's next. And if you hold the top third of a range, usually that means there's commitment, there's strength, and you could go after some other things if leaders start to go. If you don't, you start to falter, it kind of tells you that move is a little bit more emotional, and you just have to, take it slower, which is what we all have to do. We all have to measure what we can handle, how long we could hold it, and how fast things are going to move.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Did you have something on Hood? I saw that you brought
Yeah.
up Hood there. This
No,
is
I've been
one I
I've
was
been I've been
asking
in HODL
about.
also.
Awesome.
We had a nice trade from 93.60 to 117-ish. It got a little wishy-washy up here. I'm also in it too. I'm in options. I'm in August 29 120s, which are for this Friday, just in
Mhm.
case it got added yesterday. It didn't get added yesterday.
Yep.
Whenever you're playing for a primary, a binary event, you're not like going Cajonis to the wall tier 3. I had some on just in case. If you look at Hood right now, it's really not the end of the world. Like, it's not like, it's down $4, and the only reason why it was going up was because it might be in the S&P 500. Robinhood's been a leader for a while already.
Yep.
Robinhood has been a leader since it took out 67.13 and held this gap here. So now, I would say let it hold to say this 103.80. Actually, you can almost make like a little wedge here. If you use the red dog eyes, where I like to draw things, based on my own drawing. But so if it could hold in here a little bit, and absorb the fact that it wasn't in the S&P, I think crypto hangs in there, market hangs in there, it can continue to be a leader, and then maybe next month it gets added when nobody's looking. I remember
Yep.
when I was doing that with Palantir for a while, and by the time everyone lost faith in it, boom, it got added, and it was looking great anyway. So I would stay with Robinhood. Don't just sell it if you have it as an investment because it wasn't included yesterday. And if you trade it technically, I still think it's acting like one of the more go-to stocks in the market right now.
Okay, now you talked a little bit about this binary event. Let's talk about the binary event for this week. We've got NVIDIA's earnings coming on Wednesday after hours here. First of all, just right off the bat, are you playing it for earnings, or is there anything that you see here for a trade in NVIDIA, either into earnings or post earnings?
It's funny. I was just talking to the Alpha team. The Alpha team is my group of guys that I trade with every single day, and they were asking me the same thing. Like, Red Dog, we really, really had a great trade in NVIDIA here when it took out this 146 area. We were in 149 calls,
Mhm.
150s, etc. So the question is, will it take out 184.48 and be a really good option trade? So I'm going to show you. So this is the Alpha team. All right. I don't, just to show you how we all talk, I don't have anything on. And I called my guy out, Alan. He's on here. He's like, where is it? Where is it? Oh, he's like, on the video earnings 195 by 200. I love when somebody just calls something out. I'm like, well, you think so? How are you playing it? A call spread, shares,
Mhm.
and then you had Dana come in and say, I'm taking a 190 by 200 calls for me, small, however. I'm like, I like that, because 190 by 200 is probably like 3 to make 7 or 2 to
Mhm.
make 8. I haven't priced them out. I personally don't know. But by the way, we're talking about a lot of stuff. As you can see by my Alpha team or my virtual trading floor, I'm not in the video yet. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I'm hoping that, it's good enough where it goes up and my other things don't get affected and it, brings them up. But I don't know it's going to be enough where all of a sudden I want to buy something, put 5 to 10 grand in, and have it be a zero if it's
Right.
wrong. Just because, again, it's August. I've had a good summer. I'm a little bit off my highs of the year and my historic highs. A little bit of a bleed from last week that I made up for. So I don't know if I need to be in NVIDIA earnings, especially considering that it just came up from 170 back to here. So it's going to be kind of harder to take that out. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow. We're doing a big webinar. Me and Adam Mesh, who's fantastic.
Love
Old school
Adam.
guy. It's been around for a long time. We're going to talk about what it takes to be a power play option, this and that, and how we might be playing the video numbers. So I'll know more tomorrow. But at this point, it's going to have to deliver and be sensational for it to take out 185 and pay a 190 by 200 call spread.
Okay. I did want to follow up on a couple of stocks that you and I talked about last time. I believe that was July 22nd, the last time that I talked to you. We talked about Netflix, Goldman Sachs, and JPM. These are three, of the bigger names here in the market. They appear to be consolidating here. Are you still waiting this out? Do you still have trade plans for this? Are you still looking at these, or have you moved on?
Well, on my go-to list, I always chart 40 names. And to be quite honest, I don't really trade Netflix much because it
Okay.
trades by appointment. But I put it on there for everyone else. So if you want to see Netflix, my process and my strategy yesterday was, or recently was, if it holds 1192, you could be long it.
Mm-hmm. Look
And
at that.
instead of like adding on strength, and then you look at this little spot here, went to 1233 on some news about one of its shows yesterday, came off it. So now the way I would say is you could still be long versus 1192. If it gets above 1251, it kind of opens the door for higher prices. So I still think Netflix is better than other names.
Mm-hmm.
It sold off from the earnings report and then kind of broke this downtrend here. For me, it takes too much energy for me to trade it, or I just hold it and I give it very big parameters and let it go. So I don't need to be there. As far as JP Morgan, I did a chart this morning, I already posted it. Some guys are long versus 285. And now if you wanted to raise your stop, you could be long versus 290. Okay. And if the market's going to continue to make higher highs in the fall, it's going to get above 301. So JP Morgan, I always put a little language in there, is a good leading indicator. Same thing for Goldman Sachs. They look very similar. Yeah. Goldman Sachs, post earnings didn't make a new high. It's always noisy. Held this 691, went to 748, and now, on Friday it gave you also a big potent move. So it showed leadership. Couldn't get through the highs, which is fine. Now see if it holds half of this bar going sideways, and that'll tell you that there's commitment to the overall indices. So with that being said, reload. Did I lose everybody here?
No, you're good. I still hear you.
Okay, let me just see something's going on with this. Let me get out of the way here. Okay. I do trade Goldman and JP Morgan here and there and Netflix here and there, but they're not really like my bread and butter trades. Like my bread and butter trades is when like Google went to an all-time high. That was a power play from last week.
Yep.
You look at Google, all of a sudden, let's go here. Google.
Oh, there we go. So there, I just lost your screen share there.
Did you? All right, let's see if we can get this back.
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm getting better with my my technical skills here because I'm sitting in the Short Hills office alone by myself a lot. Everyone's in the city. There you go. Besides my boy Conrad, who helps me. So anyway, there's so there's Google. We've been really all over this since it took back the moving averages on June 25th. It's been a leader since above the 821 day. I just listed it on Power Plays, not Power Plays options, but Power Plays on Friday fast, saying it's acted best. It could make a new all-time high. It should be one of the first Mag 7s, and it did it yesterday. Yep. So I did trim a little bit, and now I'll probably add a little bit if it holds 205. So Google's been a bread and butter trade. Amazon's been decent. It's been a bread and butter trade, but it probably shouldn't be. But it's fine. Sometimes fine is the new special. I like that. I like to be in things that are special, but if the market, fine is fine. Decent candlestick here. Now, if this could hold 225-ish, I think it could get better to then take out 229 and become, play a little bit of catch up. Really, the focus from Friday was Tesla again. Tesla, I love to trade. I say Tesla, when Tesla's good, it's great. And when it's great, it's fantastic. When it's bad, it freaking sucks. Yeah. But, finally it got good again. So, and it behaved yesterday like Tesla. If you look at the chart here, I bought it for the first time in a while on Friday. And then yesterday I was doing the 6:30 club, which is, the video I do for 20 minutes in the morning after talking to the Alpha team. I'm like, hey guys, sometimes we like when it just opens up, it's free money and you're feeling good, but just because it's down, it could be a better opportunity. I think day one leads into day two. You buy it lower, it goes above day one high, you add to it,
Mhm.
you trade around it. And yesterday couldn't be better. It was down $2, traded through 340 and a quarter, went to 349. So if you took home just say 1,000 shares and you
Mhm.
were down $2, yes, you didn't get automatic gratification, but you could have added another 500, bought more, and then sold it, got back to 1,000, and all of a sudden you manage your position, you're still in it. And now today, if you look at Tesla, I'm not as excited as yesterday, but it's only down $1.18. For this, if I do add to it, I'll probably take the trade quicker just because of the 2-day move. But if it were to go green and take out 349.53, there's really nothing in its way to about 357. So, we'll see if this sequence can last. I would think this should go towards 360, to this area over the next few sessions based on the volume and based on, just how it's reacted in the last few days.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you were watching the options. We actually saw some pretty aggressive call sweeps in Tesla yesterday. We'll see if we get any continuation here today. Last stock that I wanted to ask you about was your go-to Dash. They reported good earnings, but they've sold off since then. What's going on here?
Sometimes that happens when you have a
Yep.
huge move into the print. They sell it down and it
Hmm.
consolidates and it makes people, move past it while the institutions then refuel and rebuild it. I didn't have an earnings play into it. Some of my guys did, but it did open up $20 that day, so it gave you a way to manage the position. And
Yeah.
from from down here where we were all over it, it was sold into strength. And I'll be honest, on this day right here, I started buying it back. I'm like, all right, it's just came in, it's consolidated, it's above the 8-day, and then this day hurt. I wound up getting stopped out. I'm like, it's below the 8-day. This shouldn't have happened, which
Yep.
was good. You could get hurt. It happens,
Yep.
but I saved myself a big move down to 233. So granted, this day hurt, but this day would have been like jumping off a cliff.
Yeah,
Never,
Scott. One
never
of
jump off a cliff because of a bad trade. I didn't mean that, but it would have hurt a lot more.
one of the things I say is that your first stop is your best stop, and I think that this shows you exactly that. There's no way you wanted to hold that down to 233.
No, because there's no hoping and praying in trading. You
That's right.
control the trade and get the hell out of the way and
That's right.
revisit. But now it's like kind of going sideways again. So it feels like it rebuilt. I actually yesterday bought a few options just in case. I bought the 250s.
Hmm.
Some guys are long versus 241. This could be your out now if it's going to hold here and get towards 257. This is the parameters of it. If you look at the weekly chart is just fine. The weekly chart, I haven't even really put
Yeah.
this up in a while. All it did is kind of make a new all-time high. Um, Gave you a reversal pattern at that 257. But if you look where it came from, like if you look here, this was the inflection point. This is where I was really hyper focusing on it. So from 144 to here, it's not the end of the world that it just pulled back. It's not even, it's still above the 21 day on the weekly. So it's fine. You just have to know your time frame and just figure out, when it wants to rest and when it wants to go and what you should be doing around it. As of right now, I do not think that this high, which is now 278, I'll even say I don't think that's going to be I definitely don't think it's the high of 2026, but I doubt it's also the high of 2025.
Okay, there you go, folks. Get Scott's option trading blueprint for free in his live webinar tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. The link is in the chat. The QR code is on the screen. Scott, was there anything else that you wanted to cover here today that I didn't ask you about?
No, I just think that we're in a tricky spot. Everyone's
Yeah.
talking about how September,
Yep, that's
historically
exactly
is
it.
a weaker time. We just had a big move. Um, it felt like if we didn't get Friday, that we could have been down a few more percentage points and would have more risk off. So just because Friday happened, it doesn't give you don't get a false sense of security that all of a sudden we're going to be making higher highs and lots of momentum everywhere. So I think the next few weeks is kind of critical. I think there's talk out there, which I don't know if you heard this because you have the pulse of the market, but there's more talk that September is going to be an insurance cut, not like 3 cuts in the fall, like 1 cut and then back to data dependent just in case. So that's why you're not seeing a big move in rates. You're not seeing, yesterday you saw a little bit of weakness in some of the rotational type stuff. So kind of giving you a little bit of, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. So for me, I'm going to try and do it that way, where I've been like that a lot of this summer, where 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And, and just be that way. So this way you
It,
don't get hurt, you
it,
don't get crushed, and you're always participating.
It's been easier to stay nimble. And like you said, that's going to keep you from getting crushed. And I think we're in a market right now where playing defense should be your first priority as opposed to playing offense. Speaking of offense and defense, I know you're a big basketball fan. What about football? Are you excited?
Yeah. My draft September 3rd. I'm not as excited as I used to be, just because the Jets kind of suck, the Giants kind of suck, and I like fantasy. I'm just really busy.
Yeah.
Between all the things I got to do where every minute counts in the morning, and then the Red Dog mindset and all these things. It's just like I don't have that much time to to study which players I want. So I'm probably going to be doing a draft, having a few beverages with my friends, but it's going to be a lot of automated who's next on the docket. I'm not, doing my homework as much. And then Chase's, it's his junior year. It's his most important year before being recruited. So I'm going to be traveling so many weekends to different colleges and whatnot.
Awesome.
So I'm not going to really be, feeling who's playing well, who's not playing well. But I do love the fall, and I think if you're a football fan, have a great time. Just don't bet that much.
Yeah,
Bet
no,
on the season. If you want to bet, I feel like I grew up. Bet on the over of whatever team you love, so you could root for them. If you feel like you need some action, don't bet games every weekend. Let your goddamn mind relax, and you have enough trading and things to figure out during the week versus having to spend your whole weekend worrying about a point or two.
I bet a couple of $10 bets, and all it does is it adds enjoyment. There's no way I want to stress over Sunday. That's my decompression day. Scott, really appreciate it. Really great stuff as always. Be well, okay? We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next time here.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right. That is Scott Redler from T3. We talk about it all the time. These folks are awesome. He just gave you like 7 different trade plans on some of the big names that we cover here all of the time. Big shout out, big thank you to Scott and the entire Alpha team over there. Folks, if you're looking for some help, be sure to check out his webinar. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the stocks y'all want to take a look at here today. What is up? We'll get 13 in here any second. We can take a look at some of the other side. Bill saying AMD. Zach is saying that there's ONDS news. Tell you what, there wasn't ONDS news when I started the show. What's going on here? Ondas Holdings announces a definitive agreement to acquire a 51% controlling interest in SPO Smart Precision Optics. No financial terms are disclosed. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this company, but ticker SPO, a premier manufacturer in advanced precision optical components. Boy, that sure sounds good, doesn't it? And that's actually not a ticker. I'll tell you what, Zach, here's my knee-jerk reaction. You guys sometimes ask me about that. Knee-jerk reaction. They just added someone to the AI or someone experienced with AI to the board. Now they're acquiring a company here or acquiring a controlling interest in a company, a premier manufacturer of advanced precision optical components and systems based in the Kibbutz Shamir, Israel. This to me sure seems like they are going to try and just ramp the tech here for these autonomous drones. This lines up exactly with the thesis and the plan here on this. I don't know that we're going to see a huge move from this, but I think, again, this is one of those press releases where this is a step in the right direction. Let's get this down to let's have some of this reflect in the earnings reports, and I think we'll be in good shape here. Ondas had a great day yesterday, 2 cents away from $5. Can't even believe it. If we get 2 and above 5, we'll be looking to trim a little bit more of this position. Still have a pretty good amount left. Okay, good stuff there. 13 is here. Let's bring him on. 13, good morning, boss. How you doing today?
Doing great this morning. How are you? How is everybody in the chat?
Dude, first of all, the chat is popping. We're doing great. We just premiered a new segment today called the Stock Market Today segment. The chat was awesome about it. Red Dog showed up and gave us like 6 free trading plans on some of these huge popular stocks that we have. 13, I'll be honest with you, we're having a pretty good morning for it not even being 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that sounds great. Let's see if we can make it better.
We definitely can. And the way we're going to do that, you guessed it. We're going to start breaking down some of those movers here. Let's do that, and we'll go ahead and take a look at any of the other stocks you folks want to take a look at. I'm going to start here with ALLR, as it is a familiar one to our group, as well as at the top of the gappers list. But 13, we can go any direction that you want after this. Alarity Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced that the FDA granted fast track designation for stenoparib. We've seen these fast track designation PRs a handful of times here on this show. They often produce moves like this. The big question here is, will this hold? Now, my knee-jerk reaction here is that eventually this move is going to sell off, so I would still be in the camp. If you get gains, take them. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of taking gains a little bit too early. We are going to have plenty of opportunity in this market. Looking at the stock here, we ramped pretty heavy. It does look like it's flagging and holding up here in the pre-market, which is good to see. We'll see if that continues here. I've got the upside level here, 196. Quick look around the horn on this. Short interest is 3.76% of the float shorted. That comes on 1 day to cover. Stock on average trades just shy of 500,000 shares, and today we've traded 72 million plus. Float here is 14.5 million. 13, what do you think here of ALLR?
Yeah, so stenoparib, they already have that in 2 different trials, clinical trials, and I believe they're both in phase 2. So this fast track designation certainly is going to help that along. But the company does have plenty of cash, so I don't think they'll be doing a capital raise anytime soon, at least not today. 14.6 million shares in the float. That's tiny bit heavier than we'd like to see, but still able to move this around. As far as levels go, we are coming up to this $2 psychological level. We're just we barely touched it. We hit 196 this morning. I'm looking at the $2 level as the next area of resistance if we can hit that. After that, I see 240 as being one of the next levels. And then I've got levels from when we last traded this, so they start to go up to 346 and 380. But I'm sure there's some areas in between that I'll make a note of if we get up above 230. So with that in mind, that's I see at this point that we're kind of going sideways, and that might continue for a little bit longer. But if we can't get over $2 here in the pre-market, I think we're going to come back down and test some VWAP. So with the run that it's had, and it's still looking like it's going to continue to run, I think as this approaches the open, we'll get a better idea of whether or not we can get a position or wait for it to set up. For now, I think I'd like to see this come back in a little bit. It seems like it's cooling off. Might be getting ready for the next push up, but also looks like it could be cooling off at the same time. So I'm going to wait for it to see what this one does at the open. Hopefully we get a move down towards VWAP, so we can get some support there.
Yeah, I was just saying, to me, the trade here seems a move down to VWAP and a hold would be pretty good. 13, I'm with you on that. Let's see if we end up getting that. Joe here really quick says, Ryan, thanks for cluing me into Ondas. I got lots of call leaps at $2 that are looking fabulous. Aren't you just looking so fabulous, Joseph? That's absolutely amazing. I think my favorite thing market related here is when a group of people learn something that they didn't know, whether it be a formation, a stock, a thesis, whatever it is, learn something that they didn't know and then profit from it. That's the entire premise of what we're trying to do as a job. And if we can do it together as a group and we can pass those lessons on to the next batch, I feel like we're doing the right thing there. Joe, that is awesome. Super, super happy that a number of folks in the chat here are making considerable money off of Ondas. That makes me very, very happy. I can't even say it enough. Makes me very happy. All right, 13, I'm going to go. What else is on your list, or can I just go to IVVD next?
Yeah, you can go to IVVD.
All right, let's do that. IVVD, this was a penny stock yesterday that was trying to graduate to dollar territory here today. It looks like we tried to get to, we did. We printed 150. That was the dead stop there. We've pulled back, and right now we're trying to hold $1. This area is definitely a key area in addition to being the round number. Now, as far as the news goes, this was reported on Friday. Invivid announces the closing of a $57.5 million public offering and full exercise of the underwriter's option to purchase additional shares. Again, that was from Friday. I haven't seen anything new here. I guess yesterday we got D. Boral lowering its price target to 1. We're at 102 right now. So I don't know about that. Short interest here, 4.69% of the float shorted. It's got 4.4 days to cover, but that 4.4 days to cover comes on 1.5 million shares. Today, we've traded almost 66 million shares. Float here is a little bit thicker than some of these smaller names that we trade with 71 million and change, excuse me. 13, what do you think here of IVVD?
Well, it seems like the move came about a day late because it didn't
Yeah,
start.
it sure does.
Yeah, it didn't start going until we closed yesterday. So this is, like you said, a result from the public offering from Friday, in which the underwriter also was able to exercise a position. They have 71 million shares in the float now as a result, and this is for the cash that's going to be used for this offering. It's going to be used for clinical trials for their VYD2311 drug, which is actually for COVID-19. So that doesn't sound great to me, because we just recently started getting news about how we're going to be. You're going to have to help me out with this, because I remember seeing the headline. I don't remember reading. I didn't read the news, but it was about some kind of ban that's going to be happening on COVID-19 vaccines.
Yeah, they're going to pull the COVID-19 vaccines from the market. I think I don't have the thing in front of me, so please don't judge me if I'm getting this wrong, but I believe that's going to happen in 2026.
Okay. Well,
let me see if I can find that while you're going off.
But my point is that this is a clinical trial. The money is going to be used for a clinical trial that's for a COVID-19 vaccine. So with that with that headline and that future, incident that's coming up where they're going to pull them off the market, kind of makes me wonder what the point of this is even going to be anymore, because it's still going through clinical trials. It'll probably be done next year. If maybe even might take longer than that, for the rest of their trials and bringing it to market. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud here about why I would even want to take a position in this if we know that the drug that the money is going towards is not going to be even on the market if president gets his way.
Okay. So I just dug this up here a little bit just to kind of correct that a little bit here. Planning to ban the COVID vaccine, quote, within months. Now, there's no distinction. I know that Novavax has a non-mRNA COVID vaccine. Moderna got hit on this news yesterday, as you would probably imagine. I don't know if I know that RFK's big problem is with the mRNA technology. Okay. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a different plan for Novavax. That might be something to watch, especially for a potential trade here. But the timeline here was, quote, within months, end quote. So I think probably by or around the turn of the year would be what they're looking at for that. But otherwise, really good breakdown here. I'll be honest with you. Just looking at the price formation here, this is a little bit worrisome. If it can hold this $1 level, maybe there's a little bit of a bounce here. I think if it loses this, we're probably going back to about 75 cents, and we'll see if we completely round trip.
I don't disagree at all. We're down right now at that $1 support area. I think that we're going to initially see some support here, and we could end up trading back up to 110, 115. But I don't think that's going to hold. I'm pretty skeptical it's not going to hold. If we lose this $1 area, the next area of support that I see is going to be down around 89, 90 cents. And even if it goes under $1, at that point, I'm just no longer interested. Y'all can trade the penny stocks if you want, but they become a different animal once they lose $1.
I completely agree with you, 13. And it's ended up hurting me. So I stay in the same position there. I will probably not trade this at all. Okay.
Okay, so that's a good piece of information to know, Ryan.
From Ryan, good stuff here.
Yeah, if this is not going to affect this company, then that's great for this company. But I guess it warrants, for me anyway, a little bit more looking into. But if that's the case, then I do appreciate that piece of info. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mark, good Lord. I'm reading a whole bunch of names, and I looked at Marty's name, and then I looked at Matt's name, whose name starts with the K, or last name starts with the K, and I called him Mark. Matt, good morning. Late getting on. That's okay. Did you guys talk about pot stocks? Tilray and CGC are ripping. All pot stocks are moving. We have not yet. We will. But CGC ripping. Boy, am I glad that I mentioned taking a nibble on that. How about that? We will talk about those. It's actually coming up here, and we have plenty of time with 22 minutes till the opening bell here. The next stock on the list is actually going to be ticker PACK. This is PAC. The name of the company is Ranpak. Ranpak Holdings shares are trading higher after inking a multi-year deal with Walmart to deploy autofill AI-powered packaging across next-gen fulfillment centers. So if you order from Walmart, your stuff's going to get packed by a robot and some AI, something or other. That's how I read that here, to deploy autofill AI-powered packaging. There's those remedial jobs that you were talking about being lost. Looks like this might be step one. Yeah.
It's across the next generation fulfillment centers. So that's kind of like what Amazon has a whole bunch of already. They're following Amazon's footsteps.
Okay. Perfect. So Ranpak here, this is up 28%. Quick look at some of the technicals on, quick look around the horn on this. 4.18% of the float shorted. That comes on 6.17 days to cover. But don't be fooled by that days to cover number. That comes on just shy of 500,000 shares. Today, we've already traded 1.5 and the float's 46.5. So I suspect that days to cover will not come into play if the stock continues to move up here and shorts are forced to cover. I would imagine they'd be able to do it pretty quickly, but we'll see here. What do you think on PAC?
It looks pretty good. Like we might actually get better trading out of this one than the last one we were just looking at, IVVD. Unfortunately, what's happening right now with this one in the pre-market is that we're kind of caught in a range here between 6 and 630. So whichever way we break out of is likely the direction we go for a short period of time. We also have a bit of a trend line taking shape here as well.
This is going to be a steep one, 13.
It's going to be a steep one. So if we do get this breakout over 630, this is the trend line I'd be, setting my sights on for a nice rally up to, let's say, 7. It's going to go over 7 if we're going to go after this trend line. So it looks like we'll get at least 7 out of this, but 720. 740 maybe, depending on how soon it gets up there. As far as the company goes, seems like they're doing okay. They're not profitable, but they don't lose a ton of cash. It looks like the losses have been slowing over the past few quarters. They lose about $7.5 million. They've got over 49 in the bank, so they're fine for now. Don't think they'll have to do any capital raise. But this Walmart, multi-year deal, that's great for the company. So we'll see what ends up happening. And I already gave you the level, so we'll have to just see what we end up getting. Hopefully we don't lose 6.
Okay, good stuff there on PAC. We'll keep an eye on this. This one I would not be opposed to trading if the setup is really good. We'll see if we can do that. Let's talk about SATs here. This is probably the biggest news here of the day. The SATs has obviously been changing around the list of movers here, but this is probably the biggest stock news, I guess I should say, of the day here. EchoStar shares are trading higher after the company announced it will sell 3.45 gigahertz and 600 megahertz spectrum licenses for $23 billion. Yes, $23 billion. EchoStar is up $24 here today to $54. The market cap of the company alone is $8.5 billion, and they're selling the spectrum license for $23 billion. Just a huge move here for SATs. I'm not in this. I didn't have any inclination of this. I'm not against trading this here today, despite this being up 82%. I think that this is going to be kind of a widely followed, widely traded name here today, and I would not be surprised if we made another attempt to move towards the pre-market high, maybe even $60. Still 6 points and change away, or excuse me, 5 points and change away. Quick look at the short interest on this. Might complicate things here today. 13.77% of the float shorted. That comes on 6.63 days to cover, and you just got some extremely good news. I don't know about you, 13. If I was a short in this name, I'd be running for the exit. Float here is 114 million. On average, the stock trades 3.5 million per day. Today, we've traded over 7 million prior to the market even opening. Let me ask you, 13, what do you think on this name?
Well, this is one of the names in the Space Watch list. So I think that this is a good name. But the news today is even better, and we're trading into what I'm looking at as an ascending triangle. I mean, you can, if you look at, depending on how much of the chart you're looking at, it looks like we're about to have a scallop here, but we're trading up into an ascending triangle at the same time. Either way, it looks like we're going to move up and try to capture 58 and higher. So that's what it looks like from, just from this chart here. The company does have 114 million shares in the float, so it is pretty heavy. And we might not get those big outsized moves that we typically see in the low float names. We did get some of that in the pre-market, but I think that a lot of that could have been some short covering. So I think if we are going to get some good moves today, it's going to be, it could happen a little bit, but with the size of the float, just keep in mind that it might take a little bit longer, or it might be a little bit more sluggish than some of these other low float names. Sats, don't even need to cover the cash position. They're going to have a ton of it now. And I got a question: is this good or bad for ASTS? I don't think this is necessarily bad for ASTS. I think this is not going to really affect them that much because AT&T already has a deal with ASTS, and this spectrum. And I haven't looked deeply enough into it, but my understanding is that this spectrum is going to help AT&T not just with its coverage footprint, but also its 5G capabilities, its other networks. It's going to accomplish a lot of different things. I don't necessarily believe it's going to be that bad for ASTS because, like I said, they still have a partnership with AT&T.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just seeing how this might affect AT&T. Yeah, I haven't dug into this either. I do think that this is going to be a pretty, I think this is a pretty huge catalyst, and I think that this stock is going to be in play most of the day here today.
Yeah, it should be a net positive for AT&T, in my opinion. It is going to be a large, amount of money to shell out, so it's probably going to leverage them even more. But I think this is something that really benefits them and makes them pretty competitive. Well, not that they already weren't, but it's a good edge to have against Verizon.
Yeah, and take a look at ASTS so far here. This is up nearly 4% in the pre-market. We're actually above Friday's high on this. So far, market rewarding this.
Yeah,
market is absolutely rewarding this.
And AT&T is up too. Not a whole bunch, but just slightly. It's not. You would think it might be down after having to shell out $23 billion. It's not.
And you'd think it'd be down after watching what happened to Keurig Dr. Pepper yesterday when they shelled out money for. Just this thing absolutely blasted. Actually, looks like it might go lower. Watch the day low there. You could trade it against that. Good morning, Amanda. Great to see you here. Just so you're aware, that Packers ball is resting in the icy depths of a golf course in Lansing, Michigan, and it will remain there until the glaciers recarve the country. So. Say a prayer.
That's okay. When the aliens discover it, they'll know that they'll become Packer fans. It's all good.
I'm sure they will. Okay, let's keep moving on. We're having fun. It's only Tuesday. We're having a ton of fun. Can you guys tell that I'm excited for football or not? Anyway, let's keep moving through the list here. We'll go to OPAD next. This gave us one of the really great trades yesterday. Who traded OPAD yesterday? Just out of curiosity. I actually scalped STSS once. I didn't hit OPAD. My day yesterday got way busier than I had anticipated, and I didn't do as much trading as I want. Looking to get back in the saddle here today. OPAD, this is trading higher, but it's basically because we had a huge impulse move in the afternoon, and then we sold off into the close, and then we basically immediately went back to the high area in the after hours. Now, we've drifted a little bit lower in the pre-market. We tried to go higher than that intraday high and couldn't really do it. So this, to me, sets up another attempt here today. We'll see if we can trade above this 494. And this is actually, the high here is 493, but maybe you can call it 5. We'll see if OPAD can get above that. Otherwise, I think a pullback to some of these some of these support levels, probably in the cards here for OPAD. Certainly wouldn't short this. Wouldn't want to try to marry this either. A quick look around the horn on this one. 9.43% of the float is shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on your average volume of 3.7 million. It's already traded 9 here today. Float is 14.5, so it's not as thick as some of these others that we've seen, but still not one of these micro or really low float stocks. What do you think here? Ticker OPAD.
No news, right? Because if there's no news, it's just relative volume. We're moving on here.
Yeah, largest
volume day ever.
I beg your pardon. No news. I guess we did see some unusual option activity, which I wasn't necessarily watching, but there you go. No fresh news, 13.
Yeah, it's relative volume. That is the largest volume day in the company's history. still apparently having a hard time getting above 5. We saw that that was the point of rejection back in July, as it was yesterday. So if we are continuing to hold above 4, I'm going to be looking at that $5 level with some intent. I think it's got to get above there, and that's where the 500-day SMA is. Makes a really, really fantastic breakout spot. We'll see if we end up getting it. If we do manage to pass through 5, I think there's a lot of resistance coming up at the $6 level, and that's wholly apparent from the end of 2022 into May of 2023. That was a double bottom area.
Okay. Good stuff there. I'm going to keep rolling here because I know we are running out of time.
Let's go.
SER, ticker SER. This is Serena Therapeutics. This popped pretty good in the after hours yesterday. We've bled back a lot of those gains here today. What happened in the after hours yesterday? It announces FDA FDA feedback supports registrational trial design of SER 252 in advanced Parkinson's disease under the 505(b)(2) NDA pathway. So we're getting some positive advanced Parkinson's feedback from the FDA. That caused the stock to pop. The stock is still holding higher by about just shy of 24%. Quick look around the horn on this one. Pretty much no short interest. 0.89% of the float shorted, 1.42 days to cover, but that comes on a very paltry 51,000 shares of average volume. Today we've traded 1 million. So it's already way over its average volume by an exponential amount. Float on this is 6 million. So we could get some wild action here. What do you think on this one, 13? And then don't worry really quick, Izzy, we're going to be getting to the cannabis names right after this. Do not worry.
I think this is going to be something that we be very careful with. I just looked at the pipeline. This SCR 252 is still in preclinical stages. I don't think they have anything in any kind of phases right now. Everything that they are working on is preclinical or in a research stage. And that, to me, that means, well, they're going to need a lot of capital in order to get through the entire clinical process. So we go to their financials, we look and we see they have 6 million on the balance sheet. And they just had earnings, so I think this has been updated. And it looks like they lose more than that every quarter. So I would think a capital raise is going to be coming pretty soon here. And with a float of 6 million shares, it seems like that's set to be diluted. Now, we also have news that we had a CSO in this company significantly selling a bunch of stock. The chief scientific officer, Moriedith Randall. I hope I pronounced that.
I thought right. You did a good job with that name. These names can be tough, but that was well done, 13.
Thank you. So, and then they just, also, like I said, they just had earnings. They missed, had a 60-cent EPS loss versus the 50-cent estimate, even though sales are slightly up to a whopping 130,000. So, I think this is going to be something we have to be very careful with. Maybe even, if there's a trade here, you can try to take it, but I think that this is going to be a prime candidate for an offering to come here. So I'd be very careful with this one.
Okay, there you go. I think that's what we were all looking for there. Prime candidate for offering. We'll see how it trades here today. Again, just going back to our theme, don't be afraid to take gains if you have them. Okay, we're going to start here with some of the cannabis names. Frankly, it really doesn't matter which one you pick. They all seem to be trading higher. Tilray is the one on the list. CGC is the one that I currently hold in small size. And MSOS is the ETF that helps you avoid single stock exposure. What's going on here, though? Shares of cannabis stocks are trading higher amid a new Republican National Committee leader who supports legalization. Now, that's really the news here. Here's the thing, though. I don't really think that's news. I've been telling you for a while that the Republican Party here is not super against weed. I know there might be some individuals that are, but that does not constitute the view of the party. You never hear that on TV. They always get ragged on. It's not true. It's literally false. And now you're seeing this play out here. 13, here's the thing, though. I'm not sure how much news there actually is because we have been on top of the rescheduling catalyst and the Safe Banking Act catalyst for multiple weeks, if not months. And it seems to me like you're kind of getting some drip here and there about all of this stuff coming to a head. Again, the date that you've given out is September 2nd when Congress starts up again. So I think that the plan hasn't changed here. I think what you're getting is you're getting some of the folks that are like, you know what, this is definitely a sector that I wanted to hit. And now might be the time here, and you're starting to get some filing in. That would be my own 2 cents. I don't know if that's the case, but to my eye, that's what it feels like. I've actually talked to a couple of my buddies that are like, yeah, I might take a gamble here on some cannabis stocks because it seems like things are moving in the right direction. But that's what's going on with these. You can see Tilray here. It's ramped already in the pre-market. It peaked above 160 and came back in. Well, we're on Tilray. We might as well take a look at the short interest here. 17.05% of the float shorted on 4.3 days to cover. You can see we're already at just about a quarter, or I think a little bit, just about a quarter, over a quarter of the average volume before the market even opens here. This has a float of $1 billion. Tilray has a float of $1 billion, so it's not the best trader here. 13, you can focus on Tilray if you want, but if you want to cover other cannabis stocks or kind of lump them together, you're welcome to do so here. What do you think about this, the movement that you're seeing in these stocks against the backdrop of the catalyst that we've been discussing?
I think that when Trump initially said that we're going to look at it and make a decision in the next few weeks, he was talking about when Congress does come back from their recess. So with that in mind, we've basically got this, I guess we'll call it a framework of when this might actually happen. And every little piece that comes out about, that hints towards the rescheduling or hints towards the passage of the Safer Banking Act or hints towards the VA having access to cannabis. All those different things that start to come out, they're all going to be little breadcrumbs that are going to lead us, to the witch's hut, I guess. Fortunately, we're not going to get over there.
I liked it.
If it's something you're going to be trading and you're going to want to follow this, you're going to have to just stomach it and follow what Congress does. I already give you the Safer Banking Act, so look for any developments there. Anything that has to do with the VA, and of course anything that has to do with rescheduling, and that's not necessarily Congress. That might just be the FDA. I would have to double check and see what channels we all have to go through in order to get this rescheduled. But I believe it's through the FDA that happens. And then I think the DEA also has a say in it. But I don't know the entire process. Just pointing out the areas where you're going to want to look if you're going to follow this and try to make some money off the trade.
Yeah, really good stuff there. I don't know what's going to happen here. It might be a sell the news event in here, but right now these stocks are moving. Again, just for full disclosure here, the one that I have a small investment in that I am considering adding to, especially if we move above the 200-day, frankly, is CGC, but we're looking at Tilray here.
And another thing about this too is that there's been some discussion amongst congressional staffers, and they believe that we will see the Safer Banking Act passed in this current Congress session, and that session ends on January 3rd. So as soon as we get back from recess on September 2nd to January 3rd, their expectation is that we're going to get the Safer Banking Act to pass.
Okay, a couple of things here real quick. I had some good comments here. Let me find that here. Zane saying, I ate a bunch of Tilray products and then I invested in Mullen. Did I do it right?
Backwards. You did it backwards.
Apparently you did it backwards. Amanda here saying, I think it's important to look at the sales data for the states that are already legal. They are way down. A couple of things here. Number one, Amanda, do you have a reputable source where the group can track this? I would absolutely be interested in that for myself. I would imagine the group would too. And then secondarily, I almost think the, let's call it euphoria, but like the anticipation of this would be so high that I think you'd initially get a pop no matter what the sales data says. But what you're saying here is really, really important, especially for a long-term investment. And I agree with you. I think this is definitely something that we should track. Let me know if you have a source for that. We could share it with the group. Okay. Pretty Panda says, for crying out loud, please take profits on weed. We are anticipating too much for too soon. Expect major disappointments or expect minor disappointments. That sounds like somebody that's traded cannabis before, because they would be correct. There's been a lot of disappointment in that front.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't. Okay, so I think the better point is to make sure you're paying yourself on the way up.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily
I
think
agree with that.
we want to just completely exit because there's still a lot of news catalysts coming up. And I think that we'll continue to see excitement around it now regarding the sales, regarding whether or not these evaluations are correct. Well, I'm in complete agreement that they're probably way over. It's going to end up being way overvalued, and not not an accurate reflection of the revenue that these states are getting from marijuana sales. But I don't think that's really the important thing here. The important thing is that these stocks are absolutely ripping on this news, regardless of whether or not they're fundamentally sound or not. It's the momentum play.
100%.
We'll trade this, and we'll make sure we're protected. Yes, Izzy, I do have exposure. I'm exposed through MSOS. I'm just going to go with the ETF. And
Which is smart, 13. And I actually wouldn't. I should have changed that around. I also would not be opposed to buying a little MSOS. Really quick here. I know we're about to open AIFF. This is another one that's moving. Firefly Neurosciences shares are trading higher if the company announced the launch of its AI-powered Clear platform. AI in the name, huge range, came back in. This might also be in play today. Market's open.
Yeah, sorry for getting out of control there.
It's okay. First of all, it's impossible to control you. We're going to do nothing to control you. We're going to let 13 go unbridled every single day without restriction.
So out of the gate here, we have IVVD. That's coming down to its 200 EMA. So far, this is going the same direction we thought it would. ALLR, this is pushing up higher, trying to get to that 208 high that we saw in the pre-market. Shortly after I finished talking about this, it ended up printing that. SATS, this is starting to leak out of the gate here. Remember, this is the one that had the big sale of their frequency spectrum, but it's not a large float. So, can anticipate some pretty slow movement here, even though we do think this is going to try and trade up higher. SER, that's lower out of the gate. PAC, still trying to deal with that range between 6 and 630. We did get a slight pop out of that range about 20 minutes ago in the pre-market, but came right back inside it and got support from VWAP. So still bouncing around that 6 to 630 area. And then, of course, Tilray kind of down out of the gate, getting some support from the 65 EMA.
Okay. AIFF looks like we might be trying to make a run back to the VWAP here. We'll see if we get that. Ondis trading up out of the gate here, 493. I did pull my order at 5 because I suspect what's going to happen here is that we're going to pop above 5. I'm going to try to sell into that pop. So I'm going to be watching Ondis here. That is up near the highs. Smoke Tuna mentioning ALLR. Here, let me go to that. IVVD looks like that's still coming in. Here's ALLR, Alarity Therapeutics. Tuna, are you waiting for a bust above 208 here? What's the plan on ALLR? And then AIFF, this one, let's see if we can get back to the VWAP. Pretty good range here if we can do that.
Yeah, it looks like ALLR is trying to push over that 208 right now. There it goes. 212 is now the high of the regular session. Actually, we also do a little bit of trend line here from the highs in the pre-market. That might, that's probably not going to take us too much higher from here. Maybe 218, 220.
Okay, Ondis through 5, by the way, just like I had anticipated there. I do want to trim some of this, but I'm going to let some of that strength marinate a little bit instead of just taking it early, I think.
PAC finally lost $6 level.
Sorry to interrupt, but ALLR is going, and the only reason I interrupted you is because Tuna just said this was going to go.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one that was the trend line I just mentioned, right?
Yep.
Okay. So 218 is probably where 218, 220 is probably where we're going to start to get resistance here if we if we hit that trend line. If we go beyond it, we have that at 240 level above it. Yeah. So, but I was just mentioning about how PAC finally lost, fell out of that sideways channel, but between 6 and 630, traded lower, getting some support down around 575. It's like AIFF is pushing up. It's going to probably run into some resistance around 330 if it gets up that high, just because we had that consolidation in the pre-market. So and then we had a drop. So I anticipate there's some bag holders up there that would like to get out of this.
Okay.
like Tilray is trying to continue to get support from the 65 EMA. Don't know if it's going to hold or not. It's not looking like it's trading great at the moment. Not a whole lot happening right now aside from ALLR.
Yeah. So this AIFF, I'm kind of like on the here we go. Now it's starting to pick up here. AIFF. We'll see if we can close to the VWAP there. I've got it at 329. We're currently at 320. I would imagine this test VWAP. I think if you took that when we first started talking about it, I would lighten, at least trim some there at the VWAP. I don't know if this is going to go any higher. PAC. Okay, so that's still showing some weakness. I'm almost wondering where the buy zone is on PAC, or if that one's going to go here.
Well, with this candle's about to end, and we just recaptured VWAP, at least on my chart, and we're back into the 630 handle. I'm sorry, 630 range. So we'll see if this can get going here and break out of 630,
okay.
and then we'll be saying, "Go Pack, go!"
Oh, that is so good. I can't even be mad. That is so well placed that I can't even be mad. Amanda here says, let me ask some of my clients if I can aggregate their data in a report for you. I'm subcontracting on machine learning to identify loss prevention. Profits are down the last 6 to 9 months. Yo, if you can aggregate, that is going above and beyond, Amanda. And I would absolutely love that if you could do that. Yeah, that would be sick. Let me know on that. SER did move through 7 here, and it does look like AIFF might be closing that move back towards the VWAP.
Looks like ALR is trying to make another push towards that trend line again. That should take it.
Let me redraw the trend line on this chart because
sure.
because that's I've got it like right up here. So estimating on this candle about 225.
About 220, 225 is where that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we'll see if I can push up there. It's already got rejected there once around 214. And SER, this might go into a halt. That had a nice pop right up to 763. Big move. AIFF also starting to move here. This is looking for a move up to 330, where I think it's going to find some resistance. We talked about the sellers up in there. Probably want to get out of this. Once we push through 330, maybe get up to about 350, that might make it move better. Yeah, okay, so SER is now halted. PAC still not being able to recover, fell out of that channel again. Tilray going lower, new low is 145. And IVVD is trying to get some support from the 200 EMA. This thing is in penny territory, so just be careful if you're going to trade that one.
AIFF at the VWAP, through the VWAP, this thing ramping right here. Smoke Tuna mentioning that ALLR got the volume as well. That's going, looks like that is still grinding towards the trend line there.
And here we go with AIFF hitting that resistance, a little bit past 330, but it's in that consolidated area from the pre-market that we were mentioning here. So may get initial backing off, but as long as we keep hitting this area, I think that we're going to be able to push through it. So just need to see some constant chewing up of these sell orders. We got one large one at 333, the next one at 340, and then after that, the next largest one is going to be at 348 and 350.
Okay, good stuff there. I'm actually going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. So still watching to see what IVVD does. Not going to trade this one. Not interested in the penny name that's not moving that well right now. But still going to mention it. Waiting for ALLR to see if it's going to push up to that 220, 225 area. I need to see a little bit more volume expansion. SATS finally starting to print a little bit of green on the screen here. We'll see if that continues. PAC trending a little bit lower. Tilray doing the same thing, although it still has the same low of 145, trying to turn around here and recapture VWAP. And AIFF still managing its way through this 330 handle. We'll see if it can, I'm sorry, not handle, this 330 area. And it's continuing to chew its way up, but not going to be a big move, I don't think, until we get past 350. ALR might pull back, giving a better entry at 189. Let's see, 189. So that's going to put it kind of underneath the last bit of the sideways price action in the pre-market following that 905 print. Looks like it's trying to push up here, and it might actually, there it is, 220. 220 touching the trend line on the dot. Gotta love it. And it pulls back a little bit. Not sure if this is, hey, look at that, Ryan. It went right to our trend line, 220. That's the print now.
ALLR, how about that?
It's trying to push higher now, so we might still end up seeing 225, but I would also be anticipating a little bit of a backing off. There we go, a little bit more. Now, I don't want to say that this is done, but if this does come back in, we're going to want to see $2 hold.
Okay. Smoke Tuna says ALLR might pull back, but that would give a better entry here at 189 if you did get that pullback. So that's what we'll be looking for here for long side traders that missed this.
He mentioned that just before that pop up to 220. So I don't know if that's going to still be the case. Let me know if that's still the case with this one, Smoke Tuna. I think at this stage we want to kind of see $2 hold, don't we?
Also with AIIF, remember we moved above the VWAP here. We've pulled back now beneath it.
Tilray reversing. NVIDIA dipped. Can we check it for support entry? Yeah, we can look at NVIDIA in a moment. But it looks like Tilray is trying to reverse here. Recapture the 65 EMA. We'll see if it can do that. The volume needs to be better in order to get back above some of these levels.
AIIF on this pullback. We'll see if this gears up to go back towards the VWAP there. I've got it now at 327, still at 329 in my broker. We'll see if we get another move here. Ondas 517, that continues to trade up there. I do want to trim a little bit more today, but I'm not in a rush to do it early. I'll try and wait this out. Mother Mary of God, ONDS. Zach, we out here, aren't we? We are just absolutely out here getting it done. I absolutely love it. AIIF back to the VWAP. Does it pop here? Looks like it stopped a little bit at that VWAP. We'll see if we get another setup there.
I'm still maintaining that pre-market area where we all got to consolidate. That's going to be a bit of an area to chew through. But once we get through 350, I think it's going to trade better. Tilray coming back. It's trying to recapture 65 EMA.
Here, let me bring up Tilray.
The pack is not recovering. This is going further down to the 65 EMA. SCR
foreshadowing, maybe foreshadowing.
You certainly hope so, right? SCR is open and trying to push higher.
I love it, dude. I absolutely love this right now. And Ondas is ripping. I mean, there's a lot of good happening right now.
It's Ryan's world today, folks. Here we go with ALR. We just pushed a little bit higher, 228 now the high, trying to get over that trend line. Do have some resistance coming up between 235 and 240. So if we do push through this trend line, I would look at that area next as a resistance level. Still getting some sideways price action from SATS, and IVVD is still not on the recovery yet, and I think we kind of have an understanding why.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say SER is basically just pulling back here. Let me actually reset the chart. I didn't really have anything great on that. AIIF still battling at that VWAP there. Looks like it's going to try and cross it right here. SATS looks like this is slowly curling, maybe through 53 on SATS.
So we were asked if we could take a look at NVIDIA. So whenever we want to find a moment to pull away from the
yeah, you know what? Let's do it right now. Okay. I don't have anything pressing right now that we haven't already discussed. So let's do that here with NVIDIA. I know that's going to be top of everybody's mind with that being the big event for tomorrow.
Yeah. So let me see here, because we were getting asked like there was a pullback. It dipped. Can we check it for support entry?
Okay, so I'll give you my thought here. So first of all, the support entry, like I think all of that is kind of moot with the binary earnings event coming, number one. If you're going to look for support, I think it behooves you to wait for the binary event to be out of the way first. Now, to answer your question directly here, we talked about this, the 20-day. This is definitely support. I've got that at 179.34. The stock is doing its damnedest right now to stay above it. We'll see if it's able to do that. We would trade that versus the upside high here. What is this? From August 11th, right? 184. Did I get that right? 184.48. That's probably going to be your upside level. So I'd be looking at support right here on the 20-day. Beneath this, I think 168.5. But remember, that binary event of the earnings report, that's going to be your wild card.
Yeah, so this is looking like it's starting to turn a little bit bearish to me, and we'll get an idea once we have earnings out of the way. But the price action that I'm seeing right now, 20-day SMA is support. That I think that's the case. But also consider what's happening at the $180 psychological level, and how we've been trying to push into and hold above 180 for the past 2 days now. We have not closed above 180. And this area above 180 has a lot of topping out here back from the beginning of August until we had that drop on the 19th. Lots of pretty indecisive candles, lots of struggle to push higher into 183, get to and try to close above 184. And now we're having a struggle trying to just hold above or try to get back and hold above 180. So I would think that to me, this is starting to signal that we may get a little bit more weakness in this name. And I think, like to your point about the binary event, I don't necessarily think it'd be a great idea to try and go long here, especially if you're not trying to earnings. Let that event get out of the way, because this thing could really have some massive moves depending on what is said by Jensen in either direction. But I think there's a real risk of downside here, given that they had to have those chip export controls, and now China's saying that their H20s have some kind of backdoor access.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that with a lot of the different things in mind that are going to be said or that are being said going into earnings, it would probably be a better idea just to wait and see what those earnings give us before we get some kind of entry. I don't think there's a great entry right here. I think it would have to end up being lower if there's going to be any kind of entry at all.
Okay. Right here, Amanda's saying NVIDIA is the only stock that I have some volume in right now. Options are the way to go. Sell some premium. So it sure looks like, Amanda, it sounds to me like you think that the option sellers are going to win this print, whether it goes up or down. You're looking to just sell premium in general there. I think I actually like that. Did trim a little here, 520 on Ondas. It's the gift that keeps on giving, folks.
Open door is now hit 5. That's on a rip, as was mentioned.
Let me go back to the main workspace here. We'll bring up open. I'll take a look at that while you're going over at 13. I didn't mean to interrupt your flow, though.
Oh, no, you're not interrupting anything. Then I just saw that somebody had mentioned it. I thought I'd point that out too. This is now it just hit $5, got rejected, just backing off a bit. Also, we have a goodie from yesterday. In HD is halted to the upside after initially selling here. So out of this halt, we might see some more movement here. Now it's beneath this consolidation from the pre-market this morning, so might have a little bit of a time getting through that. But because this does have a pretty low float, it might not be that difficult. We'll have to wait and see, because I think this just halted, so we need to wait 5 minutes at least.
Okay. Looks like Thar, this was from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Thar, was halted, open way lower. It's trying to bounce here. I'll be honest. I'm skeptical of that. I'm gonna not play Thar here. Apple at the lows, Costco at the lows, Amazon reversed and went to the lows, Netflix at the lows.
If Thar comes down to where it started yesterday before it went on its run, then it's going to come down to $5.
Okay. Okay, so probably lower we go there. The high on Ondas was 527. My trim was at 520. I'll take that. I just trimmed a little. I still got a bunch left. We're going to try to channel our inner Jay Rice here and trim a lot, trim many times, and try and maximize this winning trade. I've been sitting on this trade for years, and it has been a bag. Now it is a winner. Now I've booked gains. I'm going to let this run. I'm going to make all of those years of holding this bag not matter anymore as we let the winners keep going to the highs. ALLR getting mentioned here in the chat. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think it's got a hold too. I don't like the way that that formation looks.
Bro, this went right to your trend line, 13.
Silly, isn't it?
It's silly, dude. You said to me 220, 225. I drew it right to 225, and it looks to me like the candle literally went to 225 on the head.
It's I think the high I have is
228. Yeah. Okay. That's
So
exactly what I
that's
got.
close enough.
Yeah, I mean, 3 cents. I'm not going to hold that against you. 13. This has been
No,
an amazing tool for us. These trend lines in terms of predicting price. Normally, I use trend lines to predict support. Now we're predicting upside price with it. Oh, this is great. Let's see. We are trading in here. Let's see if we get to that VWAP at 186. Smoke tuna. It was ALLR that you said the reload zone would be 186, right? And now we're coming back into it. Anne Marie, good morning. Great to see you here today.
SATS is now starting to get a little bit of a volume push. The high of the session is up over 55, so we got to get back up there. Let's see if we can even do that. Remember, this is one that has a really thick float, so it's probably going to take a little bit of time to get back up there, if it can get back up there at all. Very, very hard to move these heavy names. All right, so we're getting a lot of downside in some of these names in support. AIFF is making one more attempt to go and push through 330 and 350. Otherwise, we have a series of upper shadows we have to exercise a little bit of caution on.
Yeah, we just went through the VWAP here.
Yeah, and the last two candles, we went up to the through the VWAP. Okay, so now there's a close above the VWAP for the first time.
And an immediate yank right back to it. Unreal.
But that 330 area, like I was saying, there are sellers in the way there. They got to get chewed up. And I think that's not going to happen until we at least see a break over 350. Once that happens, this will probably end up trading a lot better.
Okay, really good stuff here. Lion says 13 is a trend line fanatic. Indeed he is. Let me tell you something though, Lion. I hope that you all are benefiting from it because trend line, I'm starting to see trend lines more often now. On my drive to Michigan, I saw tree lines and I was like, there's a trend line there. And I'm like, okay, Ryan, you need to focus. You need to focus a little bit more.
That means that tree is going to go much higher than the other ones.
Jeez, seeing them everywhere. Ondas pulling back and trying to hold 5 here. Boy, that trim feels. We just keep doing the right things here. I love it.
Yeah, it looks like ALR is trying to push back up now. It's got to get above its VWAP here, or else this might get pushed down again.
Smoke Tuna says, "Don't look away." Now, Smoke Tuna, let me ask you. You're saying don't look away. This did pull back, and the pullback is what we should be looking for entry. But do we wait this out till we actually test VWAP, or do we try an early move here, or do you nibble here? And if it goes down to VWAP and holds, add to the position. What's the way that you would trade pullbacks like this? Anne-Marie says, I can't draw them for crap. I suck so bad at that. Anne-Marie, I don't think there's anything that you're bad at when it comes to the market personally, but
I did a lot of connected dots as a kid.
Joe says, Ryan, I'm surprised you didn't pull over and buy lending tree covers. That's actually not bad, Joseph. That's not bad. I see trend lines when I'm driving in the Smoky Mountains. Lion, I'm not alone.
AIFF. AIFF, here we go.
Okay, I'm going to look away, Tuna. I'm going to look away. Oh, my AIFF. Oh, my. PD says, wait for 186 on ALR. You know what? I think I am going to do that. It looks like it's flirting with 2 here again. Let's see if it holds 186. If we move back down through 2. AIIF. At this point now, I'd be selling into this pop. I did scalp this, but I was out at VWAP.
Yeah, so this cleared a lot of those sellers. I think if we can hold above these areas here, this is going to continue higher.
Midnight saying ONDS new 52s, baby, new 52-week highs. Wow. Let's go. Let's go.
That was a great trade.
Yeah, well, I'm still in it. I mean, and you know what? I mean, I can't even really call it a trade because the trade aspect of it. Remember, my first buy on Ondas was in $9. Okay, so my first trade in it, not good. This investment now is working. Really, what's going to complete this picture is how we trade this going forward here over time. If this does mature into a big bad company, I still want to have some shares. That's why I want to hold on to some forever shares, and I want to manage the rest of these. Make sure we just raise cash and book profit on it.
SCR, this is kind of giving everything up now, and it just put a low of 629 in.
Is that y'all's sideband, the new 52s? Zach, if I had any musical talent at all, that would actually be a fairly decent name, and it would kind of play off my stock market affinity. But I don't have any musical talent. Y'all's ears would be bleeding if I tried to do anything like that. Izzy is mentioning Rich Tech Robotics. Izzy, I'm sorry we couldn't get to this earlier. Tell you what, though, pretty impressive. This is actually flirting with yesterday's high. We also have this 250 level drawn on here as the top end of this consolidation area, or this sideways area, frankly, that we might be breaking out of. RR at an interesting spot here. Would love to see the volume pick up on this name.
AIFF, they're selling all that now. Make sure you got your stops. That was a really nice move up to the 365 area, but they sold all of it. Now let's see if it can get some support down here and hold above 3 and recapture VWAP. Otherwise, make sure you have your stops out. ALR trying to recapture VWAP. So now we can look back now.
We did not get to the 186 VWAP that we were waiting for on that, though. Mm-hmm. And Rich Tech is through that 251 spot. Izzy, what's the deal here? What's your levels here for Rich Tech? Are you already in this? Number one, are you looking for a short-term trade here? Are you looking for this to bust above the 261 pre-market high? What are you seeing here in ticker RR?
Gosh, that's that pre-market consolidation above 250 up to 260. Same situation. Sellers trying to probably get out of this. So probably not going to trade too well until we get past that 260 area.
Okay, producer, maybe a vote. Let's see what the group thinks here. We were just talking about seeing trend lines everywhere. I'm going to ask you folks, what do you see here? Mountaintops or a double top?
And this is it's a double top.
Yep, I was going to say, this is a clear double top. I mean, this isn't even something that I would, because I didn't even have to think about that clear double top right there. Izzy says, RR in at 237 in the pre-market, you're going to scalp this. What's your target? That 261 pre-market high, or you're looking for a bust above? HKPD, this is one that you mentioned earlier. This is ripping. So you know what? This is funny because we talked, I think it was Tracy yesterday, we were talking about setups. This one very similar, right? It just on volume marched right through that pre-market high here. I actually have this up to 140. I wasn't on this. I know you mentioned this earlier, but here we go. Just to kind of go back to our discussion from yesterday. This again looks like a pre-market bust to the high here.
Air freight and logistics, huh?
Zach wants to take a look at OKLO. Zach, I feel like we haven't looked at this one recently, despite this being a great trader. Here we go again now, this moving to the highs. Let's see if we can get back up to the trend line for a trade here. Now, I'm not in this, but for a trade, if you are in this, my target would actually be this trend line. And I've got that in an 80 handle. So as far as I'm concerned on Oklo, I'm curious to see what 13 has to say about this. I think this has room to 80 today. I'm not saying for sure it goes there, but I think it's got room to 80 today.
Maybe. They got...
I'm seeing some calls come in, 90 calls for Oklo.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because of the price target, right?
I don't know... Well, the price, okay, so the news here, I see where you're going with that. Thank you, 13. The news here today on Oklo is that Bank of America initiated coverage with a buy rating and a price target of 92. What I'm seeing here on the unusual option scanner for Oklo was the 90 calls. They bought 200 of them. They paid over 100 grand for the trade. And so it looks like they're expecting a move here to 90 as well. I'm seeing some puts get bought here on Open.
Yeah, Open had a big pull off of 5, didn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? This actually feels like it's running into some resistance at 5.
There's a big seller in the way at 5. Big seller. Biggest I can see on the price ladder right now.
ALLR continuing. So, Tuna, we did not get to that. You called. All right. So this is This is what makes trading difficult. Smoke Tuna gave the group a great call here. Wait for ALR to pull back, and it's probably going to bounce. That you'll probably be able to load it. Well, that's exactly what's happened so far. The target that we had was 186, 187. We didn't quite get back down there, but we did get this bounce here. So here's what I'm thinking. If this bounce dries up and we roll over to the VWAP and we hit that, do we try this again? I would say until this shows considerably more weakness, this is still on. The volume is compressing here, but unless we get a huge knife on a ton of selling volume, I still think waiting out the VWAP 186, 187 area is feasible.
Regarding OKLO, I do like your $80 level. I would say 80 to 80.50, but yeah, I like that $80 level. I don't know about hitting it today. It seems like we have, it seems like we have enough volume to get there, but it's been a rejection site all month. So I would just keep that in mind.
Okay, Lightbridge here. Josh is asking, Lightbridge is ripping. Is there any news? Lightbridge is indeed up 7.5% here. God, the last piece of news I have is from last Thursday. Looks like the director was selling just shy of 2,000 shares at $13. Stock's higher from there. I don't think there's any news on this that's fresh. What's up?
So Lightbridge and Oklo already entered into a collaboration. So I think if one runs, the other is going to.
Thank you, 13. God, he never misses, guys. That's why we have him here.
I missed. You just don't see it. Anyway.
That's not bad either. Teach me your ways, Sensei.
Looks like PAC is trying to reverse after hanging out of the 65 EMA for a little bit. It's back up to VWAP. We'll see if this can come back up here and re-enter that sideways channel that's between 6 and 630.
All right, PAC might be. Now, I've got VWAP here 588, so we'll see if the PAC can run into the bears and maybe sell off at 588.
I see what you did there.
There we go.
So we are getting a little bit of a move higher in Rich Tech Robotics, since we are also looking at that one. That finally get solidly over the 250 area, and between 250 and 260, we have this pre-market consolidation that I was pointing out earlier. This is what the bulls are going to have to chew through in order to go higher beyond 260. So once we get through this, which looks like there's about 150,000 shares to move through of sellers. Once we get through that, this could end up trading better. So we'll have to wait and see that if that happens. PAC continue to move up. Tilray reversing as well. AIFF not done yet, even though it is beneath the VWAP. It's looking to get back above that 330 level where we took out those sellers from the pre-market. Here we go. PAC coming back.
The PAC is back, folks. Rack and stack the PAC.
Yeah, it looks like it might go and try for 6 here, but I think if it hits 6, it's going to run into some resistance initially.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but ALLR, guess what? I think that the right move was waiting for the VWAP here. That bounce, very short-lived. It pulled right to the VWAP. It's there right now. What are we thinking here? ALLR. Do we recapture this VWAP?
I think, I think it may go just a little bit lower.
Okay. I'm trying some here at 184. If we knife here, I'm going to be out of this.
Oh,
but yes. I did try. I am filled and I am in. Trying for a bounce here. ALLR, entry 184, looking for a move back up towards 2.
Yes. Go, PAC, go.
You've been waiting for that one since we joked about it.
I've been waiting for the move, too, because it was looking pretty good, and it did me good. Tilray also turning around here with the same kind of velocity. Looks like AIFF are also starting to go. A lot of these names that we were just looking at, they're reversing or they're really starting to move. ALLR needs to join the party.
Well, I would love that. Let's get back above the VWAP. We'll see. If I tell you what, if we get a pop above the VWAP, might trim this. This is kind of a small position because I do kind of feel like I'm catching a falling knife on this. But we did wait for the VWAP, and we actually bought it below the levels. So Smoke Tuna, I know you had said earlier today, buy below these levels. Well, that's actually exactly what we did here. We'll see if we can get that bounce that we're looking for in ALLR. Really needs to clear out 188. AIIF, looking at the very similar type of setup here. It's going to need to move through 326 in order to get above that. PD Kate says, I think ALLR is coming down more. And you know what? I'll tell you something. If this does not move above the VWAP here pretty soon, I think you might be right on that.
And Smoke Tuna, PAC may not run that far. I was looking for 6. We got 599. That's close enough. I had a good trade there because that 6 to 630, that's where all that consolidation is. There's still sellers there. So I think it might be a little bit of a tough ordeal to chew through some of this. We might get a little bit on this next move up here, but I'm expecting this to back off of 6 after a rejection. Now, maybe the next visit up, we push into that some more. But no, I don't disagree. This is going to have a little bit of a tough time recovering. And this actually might be about as high as it goes for the time being, because we could be putting in a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here with that pack.
All right, AIFF rejected at that VWAP and went lower. ALLR sitting right here on the VWAP. I think the next move is going to determine what we do here. It's either going to be a stop or a sell for gain, I think.
SER is absolutely cratering right now. It's gap filling, it looks like, to the downside. Look, I think we may see this go down to 580 if this continues.
Is that PAC?
That's SER.
SER, excuse me.
No. PAC is still hanging out above VWAP for now.
Okay, Lion wants to take a look at CCJ and LEU. These have been massive winners for our group. I'll tell you what, the CCJ chart formation looks like this is going to try and go higher here.
Okay, so is there a theme that's happening here with the nuclear fuels? Because I see a headline that Centrus, LEU, signed an MOU with KNPH and POSCO International to advance potential investment in American uranium enrichment capacity. And that's one nuclear name. Are all the nuclear names running on this? Or
stopped out, by the way, of ALLR. I will look for re-entry, but on that move down through 180, stopped out for a 6-cent loss.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if there's some kind of news on the entire nuclear theme that we're just not getting, that's causing them all to run. I mean, is it that enrichment capacity, or is there something else?
Yeah, I was going to say the enrichment capacity is probably part of it, but I think that upgrade to one of the stocks in the sector probably puts some good feelings into other stocks in the sector. Let's see if there were any more here. Neo, VF, Albemarle, that got a neutral from UBS. What's ALB at? $83. It's got an $89 price target. No, you know what? I don't see a whole lot here. That was upgrades, initiations. Maybe we had one here.
ALR lower now, getting some support from the 175 area.
170, the next spot according to Tuna.
Yeah. Yeah. Sats still sideways, kind of, anticipated this, but that's okay. SER lower, Tilray popped at the VWAP, but didn't go much further than that. AIFF, this one's still hanging above 3. As long as we continue to hold, we may have another shot at recapturing that VWAP. So we'll see what we end up getting there. Our Rich Tech Robotics starting to sell now getting support from the VWAP. An HKPD, I know you guys have been mentioning this one, now getting its second red candle of the day. Not seeing an indication that this is done yet, but if we start to trade down beneath $2 and fiddle with the VWAP, that might be an indication that this is starting to weaken.
Real quick here, I'm scrolling back up to find it. I'm sorry I didn't get to this right away, but we were in the middle of something. It was Richard, I think. I'm trying to find the comment here. Here, Richard, where do you think Lucid is going? That's ticker LCID. Where do you think Lucid is going? I'll tell you what, this stock has been incredibly difficult. Just judging from the chart here, any continued upside momentum, I think, is going to have some significant resistance in this 240 handle. This is going to be a significant downtrend line. Really, you could probably draw this trend line back to December of 2023. I have it originating in August of 2024, but it does look like this bottom has held out and it's trying to bounce here, Richard. So my guess would be, if this can continue, you probably get some resistance here. You know what? We could even call this 250, 240 to 250, I think, on LCID. 13, if you have any input on this, I'd love to hear it as well.
Let me take a look here.
I also have a horizontal resistance area above that at 260. So maybe I'll just amend that and say 250 to 260.
So Lucid just announced a 1-for-10 reverse split?
I actually didn't even check the news. You might totally be right about that. Yes, indeed they did.
At least there we go. It hasn't happened yet. It's supposed to happen on September 2nd.
That's going to be a big day for us, isn't it?
So I don't think I'd want to hold this. I don't want to hold that stock going into a reverse split.
Yeah. I would say, Richard, I will add to that, and I will say it is likely going to trade better after that reverse.
Yeah. I would wait for the reverse split. Now, I think the reason why you're
Rakesh is saying it's going to reverse on the 29th.
No, it's the 2nd, according to the filing.
Okay. If it's the, I mean.
Well, okay, hold on a second. There's.
Here we go.
They have the 29th.
Yep. AUG 29. Rakesh, thank you. Sharp there. We're always trying to do this in real time. We will sometimes make mistakes. Appreciate you on that shout there.
So here's how it works. It looks like it's going to happen on the 29th, which is, I believe, that should be Friday, right? That should
Yes.
be Friday?
Yes, okay. The 29th is Friday, correct.
It's happening on Friday, and it'll start trading on a split-adjusted basis on the 2nd of September.
There we go. And that's Monday.
Yes, that is Monday.
So the split becomes effective Friday. It opens for trading at the new split-adjusted price on Monday. That makes complete sense. We solved that.
Yep. So, guys that are saying the 29th and the September 2nd, you're both
Boom.
right. You're both
Boom.
Right. All right. HKPD continuing to grind higher. Another China pump, I would say. And how are all these other names we were trading doing? So ALLR still trying to find some support around the 175 level. Trying to back off of that. I'm not sure that it's done going lower.
ALLR, it's trying here at 180. It does look like it's trying to put in some support really quickly. Bharat on top of App here saying App is going for new all-time highs soon. I'll tell you what, 474 is going to be your recent high, your all-time high up here at 528. That'd be a monster move. Lion, you got to be absolutely thrilled about App. Are you still in those leaps? I can't remember when those expire. And then AREC here. This is one we talked about yesterday. Told you one of my buddies had actually said, hey, this one's going to move. You should buy this. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. I did not take a position myself, unfortunately.
Smoke Tuna with some real sage advice here. Never be in a reverse split. You will never get back your money. Once a reverse split, wait a few days for a solid support level to form for entry.
I think that's smart.
And even then, if this is a name that's going to, reverse split and potentially reverse split again, I don't think it's a long-term investment. I think that's just a trade.
And real quickly here, Yassine, you're also in App. Let me know, Yassine, what contracts were you trading for App again? I can't remember all of your guys' positions. Let me know what strike and expiry on those options, Yassine.
Lion, that's absolutely true. The sector that it's undervalued is lithium because the lithium producers in China have been pumping that crap out. And now that we have one of their major mining operations, I think BYD owns them. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that might be true. Now that has caused lithium prices to go up since that supply is coming down. So yes, I like the lithium plays. I own ALB. It was kind of buying into the weakness. This could end up being pretty good. I don't know how long it goes on for, and I don't know if we're too late for entry.
Got it.
But yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. The lithium sector has been pretty hammered.
Nice bid brought in there, 182 on ALLR. Maybe that did overshoot that VWAP and finding its reversal spot. We'll see if it can get back through VWAP at 188 to move. Green Machine says back after a few weeks. Welcome back, Green Machine.
Hey, Green Machine.
Want to thank you for Ondis. Bought at 75 cents.
Wow.
Congratulations. That is awesome. As I've been saying pretty much every day about this, I am thrilled to see chat members making money on these stocks. That is phenomenal. Let me know what the rest of your plan is there. And don't forget to pat yourself in the back. You took the risk. You pressed the buttons. It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Looks like ALR has a little bit of a task of getting above 185, but once it does, it should be able to come back up towards 2 much easier. Might be getting a reversal, kind of similar how we got earlier this morning with these 3 candles at 940, 945, and 950 that reversed after we hit that 228 area. Now it seems like we might be doing something very similar. We need this candle that we're in right now to push up to 2. Otherwise, I think that we do end up going lower.
Lion says, I get in when a stock is beat up on a short report. Ryan, let me know if you see any short report. LOL. Lion, when I see a short report, you're literally the first human being I think of. So you've got that going for you. I will absolutely continue to mention them for you. Now with ALLR here, I really feel like we need to get above this VWAP because remember, AIFF had a similar type of move where it dipped beneath, tried to curl back and recapture it, and it actually did recapture it, but then knifed hard. We do not want the same thing to happen on ALLR. We'll see here. It's coming up to that.
Oh man, open is still squeezing. Well done, Tess, on your trade. That is fantastic. This thing is so this thing went up to 587.
Oh my!
And we're at 524 right now. So if this thing is going to revisit some of these levels from yesterday, we're coming up to a little bit of a resistance area from between 530 to 545. But once we get past that, then we have this area from 550 to the high of 587. That's going to have all these sellers that are trying to get out. So might be a little bit of a difficulty pushing up there. But once we get to 580, I think that's going to be the last of the big resistance, and we should be able to trade a little bit better. That's if we can get up there today, though.
Still 23+% of the float shorted on this, so still significantly high short interest, frankly.
HKPD hitting a high of 245. Rich Tech Robotics is selling off, coming down to the 200 EMA right now. AIFF is running into some trouble here by printing some lows down towards the open of the session. May try to reverse here. If it does, we need to see another recapture of that VWAP. Tilray kind of going sideways. PAC after that rejection of $6, it backed off. Now it's trying to recapture VWAP, kind of holding above the 560 area. SER, this thing went down to 565. It's hanging out at $6. This thing might end up going lower. I don't know when this one turns around, but I think there's better things we could be looking at. SATS still sideways, got a little bit of a pop not that long ago, but not a whole lot mounted from it. So still sideways in SATS. And then, of course, ALLR, we're looking for this to come back up to VWAP.
Yeah, and ALLR so far has been rejected at that VWAP. Green Machine, on this plan is 10, otherwise longer if the company keeps expanding, no need to sell. All I can say is that have a plan in case it doesn't go to 10 and reverses. Make sure that your trade that you are in from 75 cents, the current price is literally almost $5. Just make sure you get out of that with some type of gain and not a loss. Don't let the trade go red on you. That's the only advice I can really give you. I too am waiting for double digits, but I've already booked a bunch of gain, so I'm okay sitting on the remaining shares that I have. Just saying. It's all about risk management. SATS here, this looks like this is just kind of trading sideways now. It looks like a lot of that action is temporarily on hold.
Looks like IVVD is trying to come back from the dead, looking for $1. So you penny players out there, get ready. ALLR continuing to push up higher.
Took the words right out of my mouth. That's just because you're fast.
Lots of things look like they're trying to recover. Rich Tech Robotics with a nice reversal off of what looks to be 243.
ALLR is now officially through the VWAP. I'm worried about a knife right here. We'll see if we end up getting it. I did scalp this to get some of my lost funds back, but I'm not in it. Already took my original investment. Green Machine, you're getting it done. I love that. So does Chewbacca. We are out here.
That can't be right. No, it's not.
What's wrong?
I was looking. I just was getting I just misread something. I was looking at Starbucks because I was just kind of looking around and I noticed that they had a little piece of news about how they're bringing their pumpkin spice latte back to the menu. So naturally, it's up over 1%.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like a rite of passage for the fall. I might even pick up a pumpkin spice latte. I guess unless I could get the Nespresso pods, then I wouldn't have to buy Starbucks. But otherwise, I still like to celebrate with the pumpkin spice. ALLR still holding above the VWAP. We'll see if this launches. Lion thinks it's going past 2. Lion is doing his best Kramer impression and yelling buy, buy, buy.
So
here we go on ALLR to 2.
Oh, nice. There it is.
Let's see if we rip through this. Let's see if we rip through this. There is some size there. They're hitting it. It's real. Pop right through it. Here we go.
Now, if this continues, 220 is going to be the big wall.
And guess what? We had a trend line break here. Here's the big move that we wanted in ALLR. There's another big pop. There it is. It's going to halt here, folks. 228. Smoke tuna.
There it is.
The blessings. Lion. Tuna, anyone else in ALLR, get it done here today. That's not halted. They pulled it off. Excuse me.
And it went to 228, the high of the session, and backed off.
Okay.
Now, we still could push up to that trend line. That trend line's still in play.
I still got it on the chart. I am watching it.
So there it is. We're about to hit it. I think if we hit that, it's going to be 238, 240, somewhere in there.
233 is what Raffle is saying. I've got the actual trend line value at 245. We are pulling off the 228 high. Actually, I have 235 as the high, but I just see volume on it. It's at 228.
And it was just shy of the trend line. Just shy. That was a really nice impulse move. Now, Smoke Tuna, what do you think? Do you think that's about it? Because that might be it. For now, maybe it comes back in the afternoon. But what do you think? Do you think this is turnaround going higher? I
tell you what, the volume candle on my broker right now is the biggest of the day. It's not on TradingView here, but it is on my broker. Substantial volume traded on that pop.
Izzy mentioned earlier, I think it was Izzy, that Krispy Kreme was getting some call flows, and that just put in a session high of 386.
That was a really good call. I actually didn't see them myself, but volume looks good here on DNUT, trading up near the highs. Really good stuff here across the board from our group. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
So he was looking for 3. So, okay, it's. I'm not going to say it won't happen.
Kelvin sold all of his ALLR 230. Nice. Bang, bang, bang. Smoke Tuna says it's not done. Smoke Tuna says it's not done. I'll tell you what, Tuna, you are really, really good at figuring out early if the stock is going to have another move in it. That's definitely something I've been paying attention to and trying to add to my own toolbox here. Props to you. And props to you for sharing it here with everyone else.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep. Really good calls. Just really, really good stuff.
Now, if it's not done, are we looking for a hold of VWAP, or what level do we need to see kind of hold up here? Is it $2? I would think it's one of those 2 levels.
Lion says he's all out, took his gains and run. Lion, that's what I have been kind of saying you should do. That's why I was kind of out early on both of these. I know I got stopped out on the first one, but clawed some back on the second. I'm okay with being out early. I don't know, the market's up here near all-time highs. We're getting some shenanigans in some of these smaller stocks. I don't need to hit peak to trough, or reverse that, trough to peak. I just need to capture some of the movement. And on the one L that I've taken today, I've been able to get it back. So I feel like that's a clawback. Glenn mentioning you.
And you know what, folks? Hit the like for Smoke Tuna, and if you're still looking for more in ALLR, let's get this one moving again. You look at that thing go.
Yeah, and you know what? This is shout out to James Santangelo if he's out there. He has been in you for a bit, and it's starting to work for him. So really good job, James, if you're out there.
Jessinger says Warren B decommissioned my Dairy Queen DQ and looks like a taco build. But where can I get me cheese curds now, folks? I could open a cheese curd truck. You know what? If you're near me, I'll take a stab at it. I don't think I've ever had cheese curd before.
Oh my God. You're a Packer fan and you haven't had cheese curds? Let me tell you something. Good cheese curds, especially good Wisconsin cheese curds, they are absolutely heavenly. I would love if you had a cheese curd truck. It would be tough on my diet, but I would be trying your cheese curds, no question.
Well, I think one of the reasons is because I want to have the authentic experience, and I might have to go, if not the north, to Canada for a poutine experience,
Oh man, poutine. You're never gonna. I tell you what, Crow sending me a video of a poutine pizza. That's not what I needed. Man, oh man. It was not what I
What?
needed. It looked so good. And then he's like, I just made a bunch of money. I'm gonna go out and try to find one. And I'm like, okay. Oh, Canada.
Yeah. So
If you do make it up to Wisconsin, you tell me. I'll drive up there and meet you.
nice. No, I do have to. I want to have the authentic experience. So if I had something down here, I'd be like, is this for real, guys? So I have to make sure I get it from the actual place. You wouldn't you know if you're gonna smoke a pig, I'm sure you're gonna want to have that down here than most other places, right? That's the way I would look at it. Food, yeah. See, we end up talking about food no matter what. But hey, you know what? Get that that poutine truck going and drive it on down here. I'll be a customer. Everybody's kind of freaking out.
No, I've got a couple of things that I'm reading here. I'm reading something from my producer, and then I'm also reading Amanda's comments. Amanda cannot believe that you've never had cheese curds. Amanda says Curly's Pub at Lambeau has the best cheese curds.
It's funny because I've had a lot of other international food too. I mean, when I was 12, I had escargot in France. That was an experience. So I definitely am behind on the cheese curds. Absolutely. ALR is still trying to push up higher though. It's above VWAP, but it's getting weaker.
And Cam, no worries, man. You're definitely not spamming. You wanted to take a look at STKH. This is Stakeholder Foods. This is one of the penny stocks. This is why we haven't been checking on it. It did bounce off of its retracement, but this still very similar to some of the other plays here so far, struggling with its VWAP. Probably needs to get through that, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, Jay, I kind of covered this morning. The market does not care about the Cook firing at all. It didn't care about it in the futures. It doesn't care about it now, or it didn't care about it in the pre-market. It doesn't care about it now. This is a nothing burger so far. Cam, no problem, man. And I appreciate you trying to do everything you can to not make it look like you're spamming, because we've asked that people not do that. But you're good, bro. We had a lot going on, and it was a penny stock. You're totally fine.
Suspect bandwagon pack fan? No, sir. That's a good one.
Actually, I can confirm from the moment I met 13, one of the first things, I think I was talking about the Bears when I first met him, and he said, just so you know, I'm a Packer fan. I'm like, well, we won't hold that against you. You're a good guy.
And then low-key, he's been, giving me slights ever since.
Well, I mean, look,
I know.
I just got back from my golf trip, and all I heard about was Caleb Williams and his painted nails. So this is just par for the course when it comes to sports. Crow, welcome. Great to see you here. Jared says, what are we thinking on the wheat stocks going into September? Jared, I have a small starter position, because my thought here is that if we get a pullback, that's likely going to serve as entry to dollar cost average, the longer term swing trade / investment. But 13 has done a really good job. We're expecting maybe some news here in early September. So if you're looking for a quick trade, that might be one of the areas to book those gains if you get them.
We are kind of bull flagging with ALLR, so we may end up getting a little bit of a higher print. We just need to get that volume to expand. Do I still like Rodgers? No. I kind of look like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how I look like. I haven't had sleep in a while.
Oh, I didn't say that. I like 13. I would never say something like that.
I've never also torn my Achilles just by walking either.
Remember David Price tore his Achilles toweling off? You remember that? The pitcher for the Rays back in the day got out of the shower, was toweling off, slipped and fell, tore his ACL.
Sats. Okay, Brian's already on it. Sats, we finally got some movement here. This is coming up towards the open of today. ALR still trying to, it's holding above you, but still trying to push higher.
Someone was asking us about Palantir, I think, and we didn't get to it.
Oh, we can look at Palantir.
Yeah, let me see if I can cite that person.
Trying to recover. It's been on a little bit of a move.
I feel like I might have missed this.
So, I mean, I think the 20-day SMA is going to be your next big resistance level. It's certainly having a hard time getting back up above into 160. We got evidence of that from Friday. It could not end up closing above 160, even though it printed above that. And I think that's what I would be looking at is can we get above 20-day SMA? That's what I'd be looking at right now. Otherwise, we don't want to have the price lose the 50-day SMA because that would imply further downside to come. And it does look a little bearish to me. So I think I'd be leaning a little bit more towards the loss of the 50 at some point soon. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah. Fighting words. It's okay. It's just fun.
We're having fun and we're so close. I mean, 13 and I have been playing in fantasy leagues recently. It's good stuff. Nice on Amazon. I know that dipped out of the open there, Izzy. I didn't hit that scalp, but that was a good one. Without a doubt, that was a good one. Apple actually was a pretty good one too.
Gary, yeah, you got the discount double check now, right?
That was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but let's see. Well, because because he's on the Steelers now.
Yeah, I'm aware.
We'll see how good of a fit he is for that team.
And you know what? You know what's funny about that? The Steelers play the Bears in Chicago. Remember the last time Aaron Rodgers was in Chicago, he said he owned the Bears and the team. So we'll see if he still owns them as being a member of the Steelers.
Man, some wounds don't ever close, do they?
Nobody else. One last giveaway. I don't even know what you're referencing, but all of a sudden I feel like I'm on Twitch.
All right, what is looking good here right now? Tilray is coming back up to its VWAP. I mean, folks, it is just seconds away from being the time where volume is going to really start to leave the market. People getting up from their desks, going and having a late breakfast, early lunch. So, we're probably not going to get a whole lot of great movement here, although AIFF is trying to return here, hitting the VWAP right now. DNUT, after hitting 387, that's pulling back now towards the VWAP. HKPD is trying to get another leg going, but it's nowhere near the session highs yet. Rich Tech Robotics trying to turn around as well after getting support from the 200 EMA. Tilray still dealing with VWAP. PAC is above its VWAP, but no volume, it seems, at the moment.
Folks, let me get the bills paid here real quick. We do have a webinar coming up on Wednesday, a free webinar here. I highly advise that you join this here. Tom Gentile's seasonal trading system has already delivered a 58% return in 2025, which is 6 times the S&P 500. While past performance does not guarantee future results, you can join him and me live Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern to see how he's preparing for the toughest stretch of the year and get his next trade idea on the call. This is going to be a banger. Tom runs this off of seasonality. This is something that we have been talking about recently. Tom trades options. He'll do swing trades. I can't wait to break down seasonality here. And look, if you've been looking for some type of resource to help you through the traditionally bad month. Remember, we talked with Red Dog about that here this morning. We've got something for you. Free webinar. Join us on Wednesday. See if Tom's analysis, stock call, and service would be helpful for you going into the end of the year here. Really, really good stuff. So be sure to join us. We're going to have some fun tomorrow night. Like I said, this is going to be a busy week for me leading into the 3-day weekend, but I'm all about it. Raffles says, count me in. You're counted in, buddy. No problem.
Jazz Singer, appreciate the comment, man. Appreciate that.
Which one?
Valuable, Jazz Singer. I'm more valuable to him than Aaron Rodgers. I appreciate that.
Oh, there we go. We'll take that all day. Love it. Love it. Cam signed up. You're welcome for doing it. No problem at all. Let's get it done. I'm excited. I am really, really excited.
I think we're about to get some kind of move here with ALLR. At least I think we're going to need to get some kind of move here. Otherwise, it's going to probably be bad. Want to see this this push back up towards the session highs happen real soon here. Otherwise, I think it's coming down. PAC still going. It is grinding slowly back up towards that $6 level. We just need to see an expansion of volume once we get to 6, because we have to chew through all these sellers that were trying to pull us down and reject us earlier this morning when we were trading back up to 6. So 6 is going to be an area of resistance that we need to get through.
And that's on PAC, right?
That is on PAC, and we need ALRR to also move up here. Otherwise, if we lose VWAP, it's probably not going to be a very good time.
Yeah, and Tom says, I never miss a webinar. Always awesome content. Tom, this is what we try to do here. We obviously have to pay the bills as we're a business, and we do have these services here that we are promoting. But in addition to that, in addition to a lot of times giving sales on those services, we also try to make the content just helpful and enjoyable, even if you opt not to go with that. And in fact, while I'm on the subject there, I'm actually doing a webinar with Ripster on Friday. I'll do my best to get you the sign up for that if any of you want to join that. Ripster, he is an amazing trader. That dude, you want to talk about someone that gets it done on a regular basis. He too also feels like having webinar content that is helpful and educational is the best way to go. And I could not agree with him more on that. So I'm actually pulling double duty on nighttime webinars this week. Thankfully, I've got a 3-day weekend to recoup from that. But got a lot of really good stuff here, Tom. I'm glad you enjoy the content. We're going to keep trying to produce the high-level stuff that you expect.
So with these movers again, we have IVVD on the return. It's looking for $1 now. ALLR, here we go.
ALLR, there we go.
It's looking for 330. Big
I
seller
missed
in the
this
way.
entry. Shoot.
Big seller in the way. But if we can get through that, this thing might put print a new session highs. Sats, it did get a pop. It came right back in. SER is trying to curl back up. That might need some more time. PAC looking for $6 where it was rejected last time. Tilray also turning back up. It has to deal with the 65 EMA at 150. And then AIFF currently getting rejected by VWAP, but not breaking down. If we have another attempt to move into VWAP here, we'd be looking at the 330 level as resistance where it was rejected earlier this morning.
ALLR, I thought that entry was on that 216. I was a little slow for that. I'm not leaving my order there just in case we knife, but I'm kind of watching this. Back down to 220 there for ALLR. Crow thinks round two's coming here. 235, your intraday high, ticker ALLR.
Yeah, really good trades in a lot of these names. ALLR was the best trading vehicle for me today. No positions now. I don't want to get into anything at this moment with volume starting to wane off. I'm not saying that some of these names might not make a good move here. I'm just not going to be sticking around for this in case that it doesn't work out. Don't want to be taking any positions right now.
Kevin, so I'm not on that one, Samel, but that's a good mention there. Kevin going to do a volume profile seminar. That's not bad. You know, I know Kevin uses that intraday. I pretty much use that only on daily and longer time frames, but that would be another good tool to add to the toolbox. Smoke Tuna is saying that ALLR has not even began round one. Several of us have already made trades on that. That's something else.
Well, I guess I have been doing well with the prelims.
Hey, if you made money on the prelims, that ain't so bad either.
SBET. Take a look at this one. Let's see what we got here. So I had that downtrend line that I drew, I think earlier this month. I think it was like last week or maybe it was yesterday. We're trying to get over it right now. I mean, we need to see like two things happen here. We need to see a break of this trend line. We need to see a move over the 20-day SMA. Let me look at a smaller time frame here. See what we got. So we're putting in some higher highs of the session.
Oh, sorry, which ticker is this? Let me pull it up.
SBET.
SBET.
Yeah. You know, $20 looks like it's going to be a tough spot. I'm looking at the price action from yesterday. We're coming up to a resistance area a support area yesterday, which is now resistance today. And if we move through this one, the next one that I see is going to be $20. It's right in the middle of this consolidation. And I think that's where you're going to probably have the most trouble with upside. Now, if we get a good amount of buyers to just come and take out all those sellers, that'd be great. We even have a little bit of a short-term trend line here just between the past, like from Friday to today. Kind of breaking over that, but not really with a whole lot of volume. Maybe that's not something I want to kind of lean on. But I think
this is what you're talking about.
Kind of, and I'm just kind of thinking at the same time that that's not really that great. I think I would just kind of go with that $20 level as being a resistance, and if we get through that, the next resistance is going to be at that $20.40 level where the highs from yesterday were. That would be the next area. I don't know where this goes today. Maybe it goes up to 2150. Kind of was topping out there on Friday, but we're not going to get up there quickly, in my opinion. That consolidation from yesterday, that's going to be a bit of a chore to chew through, I think.
Okay. Marius says, what are your thoughts on buying ALLR calls at a strike price 3 for a week or two? Here's my thought on that. ALLR is going to have to keep going for that trade to work. If this thing pulls back at all, remember, this thing came from under $1 on ALLR. Yeah, it came from 90 cents. So if you don't get that continuation on your options that are a week or two into expiry, those things are going to be melted. They're going to be absolutely melted. So this move, in order for that trade to work, Marius, this needs to continue. And obviously, you'd probably be using less capital to gain exposure to that move. So maybe that's part of your risk plan there. Just understand that has to work right away, or you're immediately going to be looking at red arrows.
Yeah, I don't know about doing options for biotechs. That seems like there's a lot of risk associated with that.
We were talking earlier about gambling because of those prediction market contracts. That to me feels like gambling.
So now this company, it has a decent cash position that can continue with its cash burn rate for some time, but they'll have to raise money at some point. They don't have anything for revenue. I don't believe. Yeah, there's no revenue in this company. The fast track designation, well, that's nice, but another thing to keep in mind is that I'm sorry. I was going to say they delayed their 10Q filing. It looks like they ended up doing that later on. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Palantir moved through 160. It's doing its best to hold on to 160. I did see a couple of call sweeps in here for Palantir, 160 and the 162 and a halves.
But just to wrap it up on ALR, I mean, I think there can be a considerable risk when it comes to holding on to biotechs, whether it be options or the commons. Just make sure you be careful. And this thing is up over 120% today. So if you are going to do maybe an options trade, it'd probably be better if you let it come back in some more. Ryan, I think we lost.
Yeah, I'm muted because I was blowing my nose. Sorry.
Okay.
Izzy wants to know if tuna's still in ALLR. That pulled back off that recent high that it made. I don't see the volume cooperating yet, but that can change in a hurry.
Joseph Schmo, are you talking about Lutnick potentially suggesting that the U.S. government do something similar with what they did with Intel and take a little bit of Palantir, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, maybe RTX, Northrop Grumman? Kind of, is that what you're thinking? This kind of more closely tie themselves to the U.S. government and have the U.S. government maybe profit off of their business? That kind of, okay, just like with Intel, yes. Okay, thank you. That's the news you see.
Trump did say he wants to get as much as he can, so there's something to that.
I mean, and now I guess, is this going to be part of the sovereign wealth fund, or is this, how is the government going to hold this?
I have questions about that myself. I don't know the answers, but in the interest of not overreacting and panicking, I'm just kind of sifting through it right now.
Look at the movers real quick. HKPD is getting another big spike towards the session highs. It's looking at a 230 break here. That's where the resistance is right now. RR, Rich Tech Robotics, still getting support from the 200 EMA, but hasn't gone a whole lot further. Looking a little weak. AIFF, this is still trying to get back above its VWAP. Had multiple attempts, still not above that. That's going to be at about 325. See that they have a seller in the way at 320 and a big one at 330. So that 330 area from earlier this morning, still an area of resistance. Tilray sideways, PAC still looking for 6. SER coming back up from the lows, still looking to get over the 9 EMA, so it's got a ways to go before we even reach VWAP. And SATS is starting to print a little bit lower. Meanwhile, ALR selling off.
You guys are saying that, oh, here we go. So here is that Cracker Barrel news. Cracker Barrel up 2% here. President Trump says they should go back to the old logo, admitted they made a mistake, and move on. They did say here that they could have done a better job. Cracker Barrel up 2% on the back of that headline.
And the Cracker Barrels look like they look like a sterilized, corporate washed regular restaurant. I mean, there's no character in these remodeled places anymore.
So I actually saw something interesting. I saw employees that worked at Cracker Barrel are kind of, I should say, some employees are not happy about what's going on and have started posting videos. Like there was a one of their I can't remember what it was basically they just throw it in a microwave and serve it to you, and in some cases it's still cold. So it actually looks like some of the employees internally are less than thrilled with how this all played out. I don't know what that means for the stock, though. I'll be honest, I'm certainly not going to trade Cracker Barrel based on what Trump is saying on X. That doesn't, or Truth or whatever. That doesn't seem like the smartest trading plan.
Yeah, Zach, they have done a tougher remodeling. I agree. And, Crow, that might be what they need. It seems like she can make stocks move, can she?
Indeed. Richard saying, love the show in the community. Richard, we love that. We love you and the comments there. We're always trying to build a community feel here, so appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, we could
microwave meatloaf. That's what it was, Caddyshack. That's exactly it. They have meatloaf, they throw it in the microwave, and they serve it to you. The guy said sometimes it's still cold. I can't even imagine.
Just like Mom used to remake. Anyway, Rich Tech Robotics coming up to the VWAP, now at VWAP. So this is trying to turn around. AIFF. If we can just get a little bit of volume expansion here, we might be able to get back into that 330 handle, or I keep saying handle at 330 level. But until we get that, I just don't know that we're going to be able to recapture VWAP. Tilray a little bit lower now. PAC still looking for that 6. It keeps on moving higher little by little. But I think if it reaches 6, it's going to have a bit of rejection. It's also kind of spread too. Looks like we've got about a 6 to 10 cent spread on PAC. And then, of course, SATS still going sideways. ALR back down. Actually came back down to 195. It's trying to get some support above 2. So there's still more room to go on this. We need to see some volume expansion, a recapture of VWAP, and a run up and through 230.
Smoke Tuna reminding you that he called this as being done earlier today. And I agree with you, 13. This to me is all about the VWAP. I don't think there's much here unless that VWAP can get taken out, especially if it can get taken out on volume. ALLR at least has better volume than AIFF does. Okay, well, another good morning here. Don't forget, we got Anne-Marie coming up in 15 minutes.
Fantastic. Getting a mention here that from Izzy that Amazon is going now. They just got a buy from Citizens JMP. What is this? Jeep Chrysler parent Stellantis reportedly halts ambitious level 3 self-driving push. So does Tesla run on this? What's Tesla doing right now?
Tesla is actually down from its morning pump. I guess we should. Okay. I don't like using that word. It's morning move higher. It actually just pulled back from that. I don't know if it's responding to this, to be honest.
Okay. Hey, take care, Judge.
Take care of yourself, Judge.
It's HKPD, $3 is in the cards. You got a high print of 258 not that long ago. I could certainly see us moving up to 3 if we get this momentum to continue. That's not going to be too far away either. I mean,
ALLR looks like it just bounced off the VWAP. Oh, by the way, producer here says, I guess this is breaking news here. A producer here is saying that Cracker Barrel has changed its logo again.
That's good.
Okay. Producer is just, like I said, he is on fire NBA Jam style here today. Oh, that's good stuff. Investors Arena wants to take a look at ASST. Actually, you know what? This did spike a little bit in the after hours. I'd really like to see 565 get cleared out.
Short squeeze candidate. Company is trading higher. They announced that the SEC declared its registration statement on Form S 4 related to the previously unannounced proposed merger with Strive Enterprises. So they just got an approval to merge with Strive. That's what it looks like is happening here. Well, that's what the news was yesterday. I don't know if we really.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I'm looking at ASST. I see why Investors Arena is looking at this. It makes sense to me. We are above the VWAP, which has been a common theme that we've been looking at here today. But again, 565, we can push above that level here that was set in the extended session. Maybe we can move towards 6 and then some of those pre-market highs from yesterday morning. I don't know that this is going to happen, and the volume here is not confirming it yet. I did see it's picked up a little bit here. We want to see that continue. That would be one of our triggers for ASST.
Looks like IVVD is still trying to push into that dollar territory again. If you're a penny trader or that's looking for a move somewhere, ALR is still trying to push up and recapture VWAP. It's actually above VWAP at the moment.
Zach saying GM is getting into F1 racing with a Cadillac in 2026. Would that help the stock? That's a good question. I don't think so.
Big Knife and HKPD gave back the last candle's move.
Zach, I don't think so, but I don't know about that. If anyone else has any input on Zach's question regarding a Cadillac team being added to F1 racing, I don't know if that would be good for the stock. I think that would be a non-issue for the stock.
They also said that they wanted to produce an EV toll. Remember that news that came out like in 2021? Still waiting for that. So we'll see if this F1 PR actually holds any water.
Sorry, I was blowing my nose off camera there. I do remember that.
They just confirmed the drivers? Okay.
Yeah, Zach, I get it. More exposure. I mean, do you consider GM to be comparable to McLaren and Ferrari and Mercedes? I guess Red Bull's not. They don't have a car. I don't know. I'm indifferent on that one.
What engine are they going to use?
They would do one of those. They would build a custom engine to meet F1 spec. They would have to. It's not as if they take it out of the CTSV and slap it in an F1 car.
No, of course not. That's kind of what I was wondering. Like they're going to have to
design a new engine. Okay, no, really good point there. Maybe they would get better exposure for that, but I would imagine that there's a ton of sunk cost at the front.
Producer knows what he's choosing. Tilray looks like this may end up going down to test its 200 EMA and probably even fall through it. Something that's coming up here with Tilray.
Producer, you would have absolutely loved. So when I got to Detroit on Thursday, my friend was telling me, he's like, there might still be some remnants of the Dream Cruise. If any of you have never seen the Dream Cruise, it's where they drive all of these classic and modded cars up and down Woodward Avenue, which is supposedly the first road. So we went looking. I didn't see anything, but oh man, there was a brand new AMG Merc that thought, I'm going to eat this BMW up. And he got gapped. He got gapped hard twice too. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome.
So they're going to use a competitor's engine in the beginning, but you're not sure. So that'd be interesting if that's the case. Now, there's a movie, the F1 movie that recently just came out. And
I haven't seen that. Is that any good? That Brad Pitt F1 movie?
I heard that was one of those sleepers, one of those movies that you don't hear a whole lot about, but you go and see it. It's actually really good. I heard a lot of positive things about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that myself. Interestingly enough, I just started up November Man, which I've never seen, the Pierce Brosnan movie. That's actually pretty entertaining. Can't believe I've never seen that yet. I'm going to finish it up tonight.
Gunny Johnson says it's a great movie. I'm going to have to watch it. It's going to have to be on the near-term list of watches. IVVD at $1. Congratulations to the penny players. Saw something else taking shape here too. Yeah, okay. So Tilray almost right down. It does look like we're going to be going lower here today in Tilray. Don't know exactly how low, but I would be looking at yesterday's highs as potential support area. So that would put it about 140. which is not too far away.
Folks, 7 minutes till Anne-Marie. Let me know if there's any tickers that you want. We're definitely going to ask about NVIDIA. I know they report earnings tomorrow. We definitely want to take time to go over that. But start thinking about some other tickers that we can ask her about when she comes on here. She did confirm with me this morning. Apple might be trying to set new intraday highs here today. Palo Alto was up earlier towards 187, but backed off, and the VIX back under 15.
Lots of different information about where they're going to start with, what engine they're going to start with. I'm seeing Honda, Ferrari, Mercedes. Well, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. But it's interesting. So I do appreciate the news. Look and see what GM's going to be able to produce.
Neo here. Someone was asking what the news was. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to this. I wanted to finish up the rest of the conversations. Neo shares are trading higher after JP Morgan upgraded the stock from neutral to overweight and raised its price target from 4.8 to 8. So it looks like not only did you get the actual change in rating, but it almost looks like you got a double in the price target there too. So that one's a significant one. That's ticker NIO, Neo. Yassine mentioning Okta and Lilly. Those are some big caps. Let's see if those are getting moving here. Okta, kind of low volume. Okta, after the market here today, reporting earnings. Oh, these are, Yassine, I'm sorry. These are suggestions for Anne-Marie. Let me, I see. You did exactly what I asked you politely to do. Thank you, Yassine.
Is he saying Ethereum's starting to go? So keep an eye on BMNR and SBET. It's Friday for sure. Okay, that'd be cool. I mean, they're they make some really good high RPM engines. IBM option strat on recovery after exceeding earnings and getting a little smashed, running a little sideways in recovery. I guess IBM is one you want to have Anne-Marie take a look at too.
IBM was another suggestion. I can add that.
I was just guessing that maybe it wouldn't be a bad one. IBM also announced quantum with Intel collaboration. I did see that. IBM, one of the companies that's pretty far along in the quantum space. Them, Microsoft, Google.
Really quick here, Joe. I know we commented on the truth post that was made regarding Cracker Barrel. We moved away from it. Cracker Barrel actually went higher.
That's hilarious.
This is not a bad scalp. This was a $2 move here. I didn't play this one, but yeah, shame on me for moving away from this. Cracker Barrel up to the highs from Friday, it looks like. Now, this is when it fell off with all the commotion, right? So that 59 to 60 area, that's probably your next spot on the upside here. Cracker Barrel, CBRL.
Prediction markets are really starting to price in when the CEO of Cracker Barrel leaves. That's hilarious to me. That's always going to be funny to me whenever you have these prediction markets like start to do these silly things like, oh, what's the bet on how long the CEO is going to last? I don't even know how long the CEO has been there. I don't think it's been too long, but man, these prediction markets, they're like it's like trading memes almost.
It is. It's like culture trending, like bets that you can make on what happens in like the real. It's wild. It's wild. I don't know how I feel about it. I've never actually placed one of these either myself, despite me liking sports betting. I've never bet the prediction markets.
ET3, I just saw that before you mentioned it. AIFF hit 330 again, so this did have that move over to VWAP. We did get some prints into that 330 area. Still getting rejected in that area of consolidation where all those sellers are. But if we can hold VWAP, maybe, just maybe, we can try and chew through enough of them to go and print some higher highs. But yeah, still getting rejected there. Love the VWAP break, though. This is one of the things I was looking for to happen. So unfortunately, we don't have the follow through.
Ticker UP here, wheels up. This is the private plane company, right? Yeah, on-demand private aviation. They're actually ramping right now, 27.6%.
AIFF, if there is more upside here, we do have a bit of a trend line we can draw from the wicks that we've been getting in the pre-market and the regular session. So if we start with the 372 high and we draw it through the high of the regular
Sorry, which one I was trying to answer Izzy's question?
AIFF.
Okay, let me cue this up here. Just bear with me for a second. Sorry, it's slow.
It's all right.
Okay, yeah, I think I see the trend lines here. Where are we starting it?
Pre-market through the regular session. There you go.
There it is.
So if there's going to be anything more here, I would like to see a trade up to that top of the trend line, if not through it. We did fall back beneath VWAP, so the sellers still really hitting that 330 area hard. We still have a whole day ahead of us. So until we start falling out of this range that we're in, and I guess that would mean that we have to lose 285. But until that happens, I would be looking at this trend line as the potential area to break over.
Jay Rice saying that Jake from Twitter, not Jake from State Farm, but Jake W from Twitter has been pumping up. Do you suppose he's flying on wheels up private jets now after that massive Ondas move? Maybe. I don't know, but that's good info. I didn't know that.
What was the ticker?
UP.
UP? Okay, just stop.
That's for wheels up. I do hear NetJets is the good one, but I don't know. I've never flown private in my life. I'd love to at some point, but never done that.
And then real quick, Master, before I split out of here, what do I see for what sellers do I see on IVVD? What level? So I see sellers mostly at 110. Now there are sellers in the way at 103 and 105, but the largest concentration that I have here on my price ladder is at 110. They just reloaded a lot of sell orders at 101. So looks like this is trying to get pushed down. I don't know if $1 is going to hold, to be honest. Maybe it comes back later after it gets support. It is above VWAP. I guess that I could throw out here is see what happens when it comes down to around 192. I'm sorry, 92 or 93. That's where I have VWAP. Maybe you get some support, but remember, just be careful with these penny stocks. It had a nice reversal. You got about 15, 20 cents out of that. Don't stick around too long is what I would say, but trade how you're going to trade.
Okay, 13. Any closing words for the group, or will that suffice?
Hey, folks, it's been another wonderful day here trading with you all. We had some really good trades. ALLR absolutely nailed it. AIFF. I mean, we had some really good stuff we traded today. Happy to be here. Looking forward to being back. Have a great time with Anne-Marie. You're going to enjoy the time that you have with her. She's going to show you some options. Until then, take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right, 13, great job. As always, my man, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you on Happy Hour. 13's departure leaves room for the one and only Anne-Marie. Let's check in with her. Anne-Marie, happy Tuesday. How you doing? Oh, no. Do we have another audio issue? Oh, no. Let me check in with her. Let me go ahead and put the chart back up here. And I'll see if I can get 13 back. I will see if I can get 13 back. Oh, man, the audio issues have been wild recently. All right, let's try Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, can I get a thumbs up? Oh, there. I hear her. Anne-Marie, how you doing? No audio again. I can't hear you at all. Let me see. Let me see if I can add the chart here. Nope, still no audio for Anne-Marie. All right. Producer, perhaps you can help. Let me know. I'm gonna drop it here. All right, let me go back to my chart here. I'll keep looking at some of the movers. Producer, if you could let me know what's going on there with Anne-Marie. Thank you, producer, for being on it. He's on it. Okay. We could all use this as an opportunity to learn sign language. Funny story about that. I've actually always wanted to learn sign language. I thought that would be really cool. Let me actually refresh my platform. I'm having a little bit of a lag issue here as well. Sorry for the technical issues here, folks. We'll get it resolved as soon as we can. I promise you that. All right, let's go back and check out what we have moving. Ooh, ALLR. ALLR back to the VWAP. It held it, but it looked like it peaked below it for a little bit. Oh, Zach, you should have seen the first time that I had a technical issue on a webinar I was hosting. I was panicked. But you know what? You deal with enough curveballs, you're able to hit those curveballs. No stress indeed. We'll get it all fixed for you. No problem at all. I'll learn with Moses wants a Bitcoin payment for that. That's steep. That's a bit steep here. Here's your ALLR chart. It did hold the VWAP. We got to see if it can get back above it. Let me see if 13 is available to bring back on. 13, you want to fill some more? Let's do it, 13. Uh-oh. Are you muted too?
Sorry, I didn't have my mic back on.
Oh my God. You guys are going to give me a coronary condition here with all of these issues. Oh, okay.
All right.
We good.
So looking back at some of the movers that we were just talking about, we have HKPD that's continuing its decline beneath its VWAP. Rich Tech Robotics is trying to get over its VWAP and trying to move above its 65 EMA. And AIFF, we have some more movement over the VWAP here. This probably isn't done. Let's see if this is the time where it can actually chew through all these sellers from 330 to 350.
Don't look now, but Pack might go through that VWAP if it breaks 583. Currently testing it right now.
Thank you for saying that. That really makes me happy. And
you're welcome. That's what I do. I aim to please. To please.
Yeah, but that $6 resistance area, that's going to be still in play until we start to tune through those sellers, and that's going to be that area is going to be from 6 to 630. So, going to take some good amount of volume to get through that. IVVD, so Master, we did get this to back off a little bit more. Looks like we're headed towards VWAP. I don't know where the support's going to kick in, but that would be the first area I think it would have to happen.
Shady, we had an audio issue, but we're actually going to try again right now. She can hear me. Let's see how this goes here. Anne-Marie. Nope. Oh. Still no audio. So we're still having audio woes there, Shady. I'm not sure. We will continue to...
There we go.
There we go. Hey!
It just has these weird defaults whenever I restart it. It's so
and you know what? You're on a Windows machine today, aren't you? Those defaults are hidden. They make it changing it easy. I know the defaults that you're talking about, and I had to set those up because I have a mixer, and I had to do the same thing. So I'm glad we have you now, 13. It's okay.
Thank
you can take
13.
off now.
Okay. Hey, no problem. And it's not your fault. It's absolutely default. I'll take
there's the dad joke. We finally got one, and he leaves on a high note. Oh, 13, dude. That was well done
awesome.
There we go. All right, Emery, why don't you get your screen share up here? Let's dive into some of these things. I know we're short a little bit, but we'll still be able to roll through them. What are we going to start with here?
So there's a lot going on here. First thing I want to do is give the traders a day trade in SPY.
Ooh, let's go. We don't normally do this. Let's go.
Oh, we got a short iron condor, and it's holding a fair bit of its value so far. And so this would be the condor that we'd be looking for. You want it to expire tomorrow, right? You don't want to use the one today. Go to tomorrow. And the number I would like to choose is 640, 639, and 646, 647. So it's $100 of risk. You're going to collect $45 to risk for 100. What you wanted to do by tomorrow morning is get to about 12 cents, and you take it out. These are 10 lots. Here's why. If you're thinking to yourself, holy cow, iron condor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the storyboard. On a 4-hour chart, we are looking at a very tight formation that's got us between 641 and 646. Today, the momentum is saying, listen, I'm sitting above my moving average, but I've got downward draft. So they're traders. You can see the higher lows. It tells us the floor is likely to hold, but that the ceiling is also likely to hold. Great way to practice if you're trying to do iron condors, because it's only $100 of risk, and you're looking really for a 50% to 60% return.
Okay.
Does it have a little space where it might give you the wiggles because you're like, oh God, this is my first time? Yes, but the delta, folks, it's not even one. And so let me remind you what the delta means. When you build a spread and your delta is sitting at a number, it tells you the probability of that expiring in the money. And that is less than 1% today.
Okay. So pretty good odds in your favor here. Let me ask you, Anne-Marie, if this does not work, what's the escape plan?
Okay, the escape plan. Oh, Brian, I have so much respect for you. I love this.
Awesome.
Here's the thought. Two things. You want to do a fill or kill order. I know that makes some of us a little bit crazy, but two things you can do. You can do an either or, for one cancels the other, where you go, hey, listen, if this credit moves to above 70 cents, I'm going to lose 25 bucks and I'm going to cover it. If it moves down into my 20 cents or 15-cent area, I'm going to close it and take my profit. So whichever one, if you want to set it and forget it kind of Ron Popeil sort of thing, ode to the Grandmaster of the infomercial, what you want to do is say either or, and say, hey, listen, I either want to buy it up here or buy it down here. And you've got yourself with a bracket order, essentially, that covers your space. Statistically speaking, across option chains, as long as you build these in between the put wall and the call wall that's set up for the 0 DTEs, over time, the profit ratio and expected value of short iron condors are absolutely golden. So, as a part of Benzinga Pro, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you don't have it, you should. Every day, I'm going to start putting these out. We put one in yesterday. We've got the new one for today in. And this one is going to be great for this time of day. So Friday, also, we're going to be giving you one, and that's going to be perfect because it's going to be after that big PCE number that's going to come out, because we meet at 11, that PCE number is 10, all the volatility is going to spike out of it, and we're going to be able to see what the price action will run into the weekend.
Okay, really good stuff there. I like the new type of trade here. Joe is saying, when you do the iron condor trade, is there a trading mechanism to get all the pieces at once, or do you need to make separate orders for each piece? I can answer this. At least for me, Anne-Marie, you have way more experience than me, but for me in Thinkorswim, I set this up exactly like she does. So it fills all of the legs at once, and it fills all of the legs on the exit at once. I do not individually piece them out. Is that always the case, Anne-Marie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, there you go.
Absolutely the case. All right, so I just wanted to bring that extra piece of
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, these short-term trades, a lot of people seem to be going after some of these, and I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. I like mixing it up. What else you got for us?
Statistically speaking, it's a great trade. So we can look at a lot of things. A lot of people are looking at NVIDIA. I would rather do that as a post trade.
Okay, then we'll do it on Friday.
You know, now here's the thing. Only because I'm concerned about risk, I actually think the option sellers are going to win this one. However, if I'm wrong, we've been seeing a lot of big delta trades. Take a look at this one. 3,260 August 25 180 puts, right? And they're long. And that's 148,000 delta for $5.54. That's not a baby trade, folks.
Nope.
And they have been shooting across on both sides, long and short, easily for the last week. So it tells me that big bets are on the skew.
Yep.
And when that happens, option sellers normally end up being the winner. I would rather,
Interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know. You learn something every day in this beautiful life. I did not know that. That's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. It's sort of like also a little bit of knowledge. If you ever look at a chart, folks, and you're staring something down and you can see buying come in, or you can see on your option screen or on Benzinga Pro, and you see people are buying call after call after call after call, but price is not moving up. It's telling you they're sitting on the wrong side of the trade. The reflexive buying has to come right in, or they're betting against real flow. And that's really something to pay attention to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff there. Awesome stuff there. What do we want to do next?
Okay. So what we can stare down is a lot of people are super bullish on Google. And this fade today actually gives us a pretty good opportunity to look at short-term price action, even though, and we're using GOOG, not G. Yes, they're still grinding here at my house. Wow. It is just.
What are you building? A pool like 13?
No, there's a portion of the house that's getting redone, and their last 2 weeks they were ripping up all the stone, and now they're grinding the new stone together. And so I am so sorry. So
it's okay. It's okay,
right.
Henry.
So here's what we're looking at. It popped up. There's been a lot of motion that's really, really great. I built with ChatGPT something called the volume spike. And what it does is tell you across time where the highest volume is more than 4 times normal. And it gives you a little spiky spike that tells you what's going on. And you can see that the traders in this box are giving you.
Wait, did you use ChatGPT to generate ThinkScript code and then you plugged it in and it drew this for real?
Yes.
That
so
is
what I did,
unbelievable. You're the first person that you've given me an idea.
Yeah. And so what I do is I go, hey, I want it to do this. I want it to have this ability to manipulate this, and it'll pop out code. And sometimes I'll plug the code in and it'll have all these errors. And I'll say, because remember, ChatGPT wants us to like it. So when you get those errors, go in and say, hey, you've got these errors, fix them, and don't make this mistake again. And so what it does is go back in and make sure all the parameters for the call scripts to do whatever it needs are all validated back against the code. And so it's fantastic. I have built so much with this. It's been phenomenal. Yeah. So.
Man, well, we heard learn to code being thrown around for years. Anne-Marie took it literally and just did it with ChatGPT. Unbelievable.
So I'm not learning anything. I'm thinking ChatGPT is making me more stupid day after day. So
there's a study that shows that. Have you?
No, I totally believe it.
Okay.
I absolutely totally believe it. So one of the things we're seeing is the floor at 200 being a really nice spot for this last spike up. And if we rotate higher and we say, hey, listen, does it keep me in the box because of seasonality, or do I get to expand? You're going to see where the expansion is to the upside, 215, big fat round number. So let's go here, see if we can find ourselves something cheap that we can use that might give us the floor that we keep at 200 versus the spike that we get at 215. So if you buy it outright, very bad, don't ever do that. If you buy it outright, you're going to see that it's $3.50 because vol is actually spiked. And so you can do yourself a double butterfly that's going to be fairly cheap, right? 47 cents, but you're only looking at a tight time frame, right? So this is literally, it gives us 24 days to expiration. And so what you want to see it do is begin to drift higher or begin to drift lower. If you take the 200 one, it's going to be just about the same. You're only looking for $5, but what you're expecting is squash and squish. So the last thing you can do is say, hey, you know what? I'm seeing that 220. Why don't I sell the iron condor and pay for it? Keeps it right in there. You sell the iron condor to pay for it. That says, hey, they don't do anything. It moves up. You get to pay for it. You get the call, doing very nicely, but at the same time, because you've sold that put already, because you've sold the same strike, you can win on the call butterfly and on the iron condor. If you take the put side, you can win on the put side of the butterfly and the iron condor. So wait a second, that should be 195. Excuse me. Let me change that. Hold on. It's 195, 190, 220, 225. Gives us even more premium. But the middle strike is the one that you want to sell. And so to build your iron condor. And so no matter which one of these calls or puts you buy, one, the iron condor is going to pay for it. And then two, if it wins, you're going to win on both sides.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. Folks, screenshot that if you want that trade. That looks awesome. By the way, Anne-Marie, this looks incredibly sharp. I can literally read every single little number. So, folks, if you like the sound of that one, be sure to screenshot that. We got 10 minutes here. That means we got more goodies. What else do we got?
All right. So the next thing we can stare down is, we could look at whether this Palantir bounce is going to be a real thing, but I think it's longer. Let's go to this recovery of Lilly, right? This is the last one. Let's go to Lilly. Whoa. Oh, these are all my, and you can tell it to give you an alert. That same volume spike that I built. I don't know if you saw those alerts pop up.
I did. And,
yes.
and is that what's marked at the bottom down here too?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we will notice that on this earnings day, 11 times the volume showed up. So we're actually still in this volume box, right? So the traders that put big money to work on this larger time frame saying, hey, I've sold that, they are still in the money all the way up to $760, at which point they're going to really try and defend that. So that gives us another opportunity to say, hey, maybe they'll move up to the north there. Yesterday, no, it's this morning. This morning's candlestick is peaking out at almost 5 times the normal 4-hour volume. So they are trying to buy it up through the spike. They think that there's a recovery event here. If we take a look at all the price action, we can see the first thing that's happening is that our momentum was sharp on the sell-off, clearly held old support, and now is trying to push itself up to the top of these formations. I think in the short term, this has got itself a pretty good reflexive buy zone. And so I'm going to look at 735 to 745 to 755 on the put, excuse me, the call side. And so, of course, it's better to go to the monthly because there's going to be more, volume. There you go. And so if we go 735, we'll have to go 15 wide, and that's okay. To 745 to 750, excuse me, and then this one's a little rough.
I was going to say, so we don't have that 15.
Yeah, let's
increment.
do it. Let's do 740 to 750 to 760. 95 cents for $1,000 move. 93 cents. You could go in there and see if you could put it at.
Look at that, 43 cents.
43 cents. Now, notice this. The current delta is only showing 53. So when you 0.53, so very low probability of working at this juncture. However, price action and momentum telling us that easily, if it catches a bid, it could move to the upside. If you're saying, I don't know, it is Lilly, they're having themselves a little bit of a moment. Maybe I should do something on the put side to see if it falls back into the range. Easily, what can we use? 710, 700. So if we go 710, 700, 690, 73 cents, right? So my thought would be throw it out there 50 cents on each side of them and see if they do it.
Get that stink bid filled.
Exactly. I mean, no harm, no foul, right? Very big upside potential, low probability event, but if it hits, it's going to be a beast.
Yeah, it's going to be big. And there's not a lot of money at risk there at 50 cents. That's not even a lot. So
Exactly.
Okay.
So pick a side. If you say, you know what, I really want to take the long. I see the volume building here, but I'm concerned it might be exhaustion. Let it exhaust. Wait, go to your 30-minute chart. Let it exhaust up the chain. And then take your put. It is what it is. And there is a likelihood that this big move could be an exhaustion formation, right? I mean, look at this. For the 30-minute candle at 8:30, this is pre-market, 17 times the normal volume. So this could clearly be volume exhaustion. Clearly.
Yeah.
So you've got both sides of that trade. Put in the old stink bid. Bob's your uncle.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, we got 3.5 minutes left.
We sure do.
All right.
Anne-Marie's like, I'll cook something up. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll cook something up here.
Okay, so this one, let's see what let's see what GEV could. So, we're seeing a lot of movement. This has got unbelievable intraday volatility, but it has been moving down. I expect it's going to give back a lot of its pressure to the upside. And so, again, this is your standard volume exhaustion formation. If price goes zoom right up into resistance, this could be a very sweet short action event into the volume exhaustion. You can see that it's very range bound. Let's see if we can get something super cheap. Let's go to, there's some volume floating around here. 600, 690, 680, 10 cents.
Okay.
10 cents. I like this
That's
one.
so
I know. And here's full disclosure. I own a lot of GEV. I do. And so I am thinking that what's happening right now, look at this on the weekly. You can see momentum drifting down. You can see them trying to hold the floor. But if they don't, it could be a pretty interesting run to the downside. Now, here's something else I want to say to you. Put an alert for that 690. Because if it fades, look, it's 55 cents, 45 cents. See if you can get that 15-cent move in there and see if it fills, right? But if this moves to 590, you're going to need to get out of it because chances are, I honestly think this thing will move straight into 580 before it has even the first bounce pass. And if it loses that 580, it could go down easily to 544 and then start rotating through until it comes back to the bottom of the last earnings candlestick at that 530-ish area.
Okay. All right. I like it. We did it, and we just snuck it in there, and we have time. So, Anne-Marie, really, really great stuff here. We got Paul Meeks coming up next. Any closing words for the group here today?
Stay frosty, folks. Watch your size. Something's cooking.
Yeah, it does feel like that. We'll see if we get any indication from the NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday after hours. Then remember, we have a PCE print on Friday morning. So I'm sure you and I can maybe even talk about that a little. We'll see if that sets up for any new trades. Anne-Marie, great stuff as always. Have a wonderful one. And tell the stonecutters out there that they're doing great work.
I will. They really are.
That is Anne-Marie, folks. We'll check in with her on Friday. Take care. Folks, as mentioned, Tech Tune-Up coming up next here. We're going to send you over there. I think someone was asking about Micron earlier. You're going to have your opportunity to meet Paul Meeks and ask him that. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to send you there. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused, and